Thank you, Arun. Welcome, guys, to the close. 2 hours to go in what has been a pretty choppy trading session here. We'll take you right through to 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll have a look at some positive numbers to start things off. Nice look here for U.S. equities at this point this afternoon. 0.72 for the S&P, a full 1% for the Dow. Back to the upside. Same story for the NASDAQ. 0.9 in positive territory. The TSX here in Toronto also back in positive territory today, having a nice session. 0.7. Cryptocurrency still to the downside. 0.3 almost for Ethereum. 0.24 there for Bitcoin. We've tried anyways to muffle the fire alarm, but we'll do our best to carry on here this afternoon. This is how things look for the S&P right now. It's the banks leading the way. We mentioned, if you joined us this morning, banks very strong right out of the gate. JP Morgan off the highs. WFC here back to the downside a little bit. There's BAC and JPM still 1.8, 1.9, both in positive territory. WTW in the insurance group, that was earnings name from after the close yesterday to the downside. Everything else, though, pretty positive. Same story for healthcare stocks right across the board. The equipment makers leading, pharmaceutical names outside of Amgen up 9% off earnings, pretty red. Moderna leading to the downside there, 5%. Pfizer as well, negative territory. Industrials, consumer discretionary stocks, nicely higher. Both or all three of the cruise lines up about 4% on the day. There's FISB. They reported 6% downside. Otherwise, though, pretty strong for tech stocks. Wanted to point out the energy group here, red along with oil. Same story to the upside, though. For material stocks, we saw Alcoa having quite the day to all-time highs. And along with some of these other material stocks, as I mentioned, FCX here, Nucor, EMN, ALB as well, 2.3% in positive territory. Here we go for a quick look at the NASDAQ before we get too far ahead of ourselves here. Similar story right across the board. Communication services, a little bit choppy. Yeah, Facebook 2.6. We're going to talk about that. Baidu right beside it. Nice bounce back day. MRVL 4.8% to the upside. Otherwise, though, we're doing well. Let's get into a little bit of a review. If you joined us at 8:30 this morning, we talked about a whole bunch of things that were moving around in the pre-market this morning and came up with a bit of a game plan in that first hour, as we do every day, on how to approach it. We'll go back and have a look at a few of those now, led by Sean is here. He's going to talk about one of his trades.
Gonna fix the mic pack here. Yeah, what's up, guys? Yeah, today's trade of the day sponsored by Pfizer. So, of course, we always look at different names when we're trying to make the trade of the day. We're trying to get names that are active, and I put it up on my sticky note. We looked at Pfizer. Why? Because they had earnings, and the earnings actually were pretty good, despite you're seeing Pfizer down that 3.51%. I'm not going to go over their earnings. We're talking about trading right here. So let's go over some key levels. That's the very first thing that I look at when I'm saying, okay, you know, something reported, it's doing lots of volume in the pre-market. Where are we, right? Because if you don't zoom back out and have a look at a larger scale here, then you're never going to know where the key levels are, what the stock is doing on a broader scope, right? And so if you scalp, different story. If you're looking for positions, different story. So here's the $50 right here, right? And again, always 50 is going to be a very, very key psychological level, as well as a level that just flat out, everybody's looking at it. You have options executed at these levels. So I was looking at 50 and saying, you know what? We've held there before. So maybe we hold again. And again, you know, we like the report. It wasn't as bad as what it was supposed to open up down that 4.5%, almost 5%. So maybe I'll just try to zoom back over a little bit here. This is the trade initially, and it happens right away. We just parked our order right ahead of 50. So we actually, this is the line here. This is a 50 line, the blue. So we get long about like 50.20, something like that. And then instantly it's to the upside. And all we're doing at this point is just taking profits and trying to find out where we can get in and where we can get out. Off the open, stocks are absolutely crazy. And you can see how it just goes back and forth here. Like we have bought, like not only did I get out at 50, it actually rips up and then retests again. So this is where we're like, uh-oh, we know we have a great spot, but typically we like it just to continue to the upside, which it eventually does. But coming back in that same minute, this is a minute chart, that's scary. So we have to have our stop orders ready to rock and roll here at 50. They don't execute because it doesn't hit it. And then it's just bang, 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 all the way to the upside. And I can zoom back over this way a little bit, but this is the pre-market area of like 50, 80, 50, 70, 51. So as it starts to go and then blows up to the upside, this is where we're taking some out, and then we get the majority out up here, because at this point we're above VWAP and we're above the 50 period here. So a lot of action. Not only that, look how back and forth this is. Like you have a high there of 51.40, right? That very same candle goes down to 50.40. So that's $1. That's $1 in 1 minute back and forth. So taking your profit here, very, very important. Here's the last out right here as we take VWAP down 50.70. Now we're flat. And we're like, okay, that was great. Can we do it again? Sure, why not? Comes all the way back down and we take the same trade again. We actually wait even deeper on this time. And it's a good thing we did, because you see it goes up. We're like, okay, let's see if we can get another trade up here. We still have VWAP here about 50 cents away. Then all of a sudden it battles around. Then you do see a break. We take it one more time out. Like that out is like 49.90. So we've taken like 20, 30 cent hits here. We hold that last little piece and we get out at the very bottom. And I marked this, 49.60 is that bottom. That's like a 49.75 or so print. That makes sense. We normally get out at the quarter. So there's that out. Then all of a sudden it goes crazy again. And here's this rip, just boom to the upside. We wait, trying to be a sniper here, and we take the short again at 50.25. Cash, 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 all the way back down. So we go long, make money, bumble it up around here, no damage really done. Well, I think we wound up losing there. Then we take the short, and again, 50.20s, out there at the 50 period, out at $50. We let it try to hold. It doesn't go down. We get out at 50 flat there. Then back and forth here at VWAP. No skin, nothing happens there. I believe that was a stop order that was executed back and forth. We try the short again at 51 here. Okay, we're already in this area, so we're like, all right, let's see what happens. Takes out 51 and we get out. So again, this is 50.85, 50.90, small hits again. Then back and forth here, short, long and out, back and forth. Again, nothing happening. Then we kind of wait and we play off 52. And this is where the money comes in again for us on Pfizer. Short 52, out, 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 out. Breaks the 50 period. We let it break all the way down. Out 51.25, and that's it for Pfizer. So again, I think the important thing to talk about here when you're looking at a trade is if they have earnings like this on Pfizer, you're going to have to watch out. It's crazy off the open. Take your profits and then just be patient. Wait for key levels like we did down here at 50, and then we waited again at 52. The only time we really got in trouble is when we kind of played around in here and then played around at 51.50. So again, key levels seem to be pretty important, obviously on earnings day. So check mark on volume, check mark on move, and on key level. It's Pfizer, and it's your trade of the day.
All kinds of opportunities, both directions on Pfizer this morning. Just watching Lidar, L-I-D-R, guys. Intel in their 13F filing disclosing a 6.9 million share stake in LIDR. So a huge pop on that news, it would appear. Another Lidar sensor maker going crazy here today. So we'll talk about that a little bit more here coming up. But that's the watch list, guys. If you're interested in the link to the watch list, all you need is an email address, and you can have that for absolutely free. Yeah, so here we go. LIDR just popping up on that news again. Intel apparently disclosing a nearly 7 million share stake in this one, guys.
Yeah, like that's like a pretty interesting story there. Another name which is popping, I was just sort of mentioning, as John, as he sat down, GameStop, which was turning around off 117, but have AMC here actually continuing to its high. So just wanted to quickly point this one out because I know a lot of people are looking at it. Recent break of this 1640 area, but just have a quick look. Like it had that 19 double top, and then this lower high, 17 to 17 quarter, could be resistance. And the reason I think it's interesting is you've already had a capitulation in GameStop and it's trying to get back towards the highs. A lot of times they'll move together. In this particular case, GameStop came back in. I was short, tried it several times, and then did not have it. Got stopped out at the top when it flushed $6. But that coming back in as you actually see AMC continue to try going. As a matter of fact, just as I say that, lo and behold, there goes AMC putting a bit of a wick top in and a bit of a reversal. So always zoom out, have a look at the related names in the space because you want to make sure you're grabbing your profit if you're in one of these longs. GameStop capitulated like half an hour ago.
Excuse me. Yeah, normally we are in. Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, that Pfizer was a good trade there for the trade of the day. We're still in DWAC. We could talk about that, but let's go over quickly to AMC as you guys love Ape Nation, and we'll see what that's doing right now. Good out for me on Peloton. I just sat back down and was like, okay, we'll take 70 cents. Okay, so here's AMC. Again, a nice move to the upside. I didn't want to look at a 20-minute because, you know, this goes back where it's just like, honestly, like, what am I even doing? This 1450 area has been so gold. You go all the way back to the first of the month. Well, we're all the way up here, but if you just go back to the first few days here, we've held 1450 before making the move up to 16, comes back in, holds 1450 before now making the move up to what may be 17. And if you're looking at some areas to get out here, why not use that 17 area? So that 1680 was a great trade to get out. We already stopped out there. We could easily go a little bit higher, but if we do get up here, watch out for 1850. I think the turn up point would be at this point. You have to take out the high of 1680 one more time. That probably happens again, and if it does, there's nothing wrong with taking the shot. So you could see it ride the VWAP here, ride up the 50 period. You did have an awesome area to reload this trade at 16 here. Comes in, hits, bounces, hits, bounce, boom, boom. So Bob's your uncle on that trade, and there it is AMC, a great trade. Come on, Facebook, you can do it. Let's go back up to the upside with that one. And then I just sat down and got out of some of that Peloton there. So we went long right there. We're almost out, actually, for around 60s is our out. So a nice little move back up there for Peloton. This was a mistake. I actually meant to hold this all the way to the downside. But again, Peloton, a good trade. It's just right there. We took a little bit out. We should have taken them all out. We actually took out half. Right there. We have one more half to go, and it should be coming out soon once we break through 60, but Peloton, wild ride here. I know we're going to get to that. Or we're on it right now.
That was my bad, because I wanted to point out AMC.
Oh, okay.
Because AMC was moving, right? So
I went over to AMC thinking that was the topic.
That's my bad. It was on the move. It was at that high, and I just want to, because I thought it might turn. I probably should have shorted it, but I just want to make sure you guys saw that at that high. I know we are going into Peloton, which had their results today here, Brendo.
Yeah, lots of individual headlines. Just be careful, guys, on this Lidar. A few people saying that 6.9 million share stake by Intel is actually no change over the prior filing that showed. So it initially spiked up on that, but right back down here. So still, I mean, pretty good day for LIDR on the VLDR news. So all the LiDAR sensor names going crazy. Yeah, I mean, we had earnings for Peloton. We had a whole bunch of changes. New CEO, some board members coming and going for them as they look to kind of calm the waters, I guess. But Blackwater even came out this morning and said, yeah, not enough yet.
Well, again, in terms of the report, the big thing is if you're looking to shop yourself, cutting costs is always a pretty good way to make yourself a little bit more appealing. So the job cuts, which were to the executive side, at least that's what they're saying. That's probably going to be one positive. The second thing to consider is that Foley has huge voting rights. He's taking a step back, going to the board, getting out of the CEO role. They're poaching some decent talent there. So that, again, might make it a little bit more appealing. Maybe it makes it easier to get a deal through because he's been willing to relinquish that CEO role. Who knows with regards to that. Sean can definitely talk about the long. I actually shorted it, like in this morning, was actually okay off of this 34 level, and then sat it out until it got to 40. And took multiple shots at 40. It's this stop out, which is why, even though I'm in a 39.50 short and it might run to VWAP, but even then, I might get close to flat on the stock, but I probably won't be able to turn green because when it took this shot in here and broke 40 even, that's when I'll take a hit. And again, sometimes you get taken out at the top and you have to be willing to get back into the trade. So despite the fact that I took the hit, I did jump back in because that's obviously a wick high at 40 running stops. That's a retracement trade that doesn't matter what you're at. You always leave yourself bullets in the chamber in that particular case, right? You don't want to miss out on what is a good setup, and that kind of a wick high at a round number is going to stand out on Peloton. And the reason it does, because there's just nothing since the shock down. There is no obvious level. It would have to get to $50 is just a round number. You're talking 55 where there's significant price rejection. There's been some rollovers. We can look back to 33 down here, but we're so far away from those levels now that you're just really looking at the even dollars. There was 34 And 34 was just as high from yesterday. And that's why I sat out, didn't try 37. There was nothing to do until it got up to 40 because 40 was a round number. And a lot of times you just have to have some level of discipline. If I had been as aggressive shorting this as I was on DWAC day one, I'd probably be shut down because look how strong Peloton has absolutely been. You can say it's a squeeze play to a certain extent, like there is like a bit of a squeeze factor to it, but it's also an easy to borrow name that day traders love trying to fade. So you're also getting some of those short-term shorts getting busted all day long as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just, now that we're talking about Peloton, I just took the 30 long. I mean, it was a pretty easy long break there, which happened, and we were waiting for that to hit. It does hit, and then it's straight to the upside. We take out one at 31, and then we take it again at 33.50. So again, 350 win there, $1 right there, and then it just rode it all the way up, and we basically missed absolutely everything until trying to short again, and then we did have the short here. Our short was 38.90 or so, and then we got that out at 38 flat, and now we're back long, trying to protect some of these bottoms. But I think Peloton probably falls from here. You're up 30%. What a great move all the way back. I mean, look at the chart on Peloton. Like, we talked about this as a buyout, but it just went down a lot further than we had thought, obviously. And look where we are now, back above the 50 period and looking a little bit better. So we'll see where Peloton eventually gets taken out. My guess would be like 50, 55, something like that around here based on some premiums. But I guess it just depends on where we fall down. The 50 period moving average isn't a horrible idea on where you possibly get bought out. But remember ATVI, guys, where they got taken out at. So ATVI got saved by softies. So if you look at this, they were at 64 and their buyout, I think, is 90 or whatever it is. It's 69
Huge
billion
premium,
in cash. So, you know, they were tanking ship here. And then all of a sudden they find a balance, and then Microsoft comes in and saves them up about 50% higher, right? 64, they're buying them at about 90-ish. So if you take that for Peloton, not that I think that, you know, they are going to get the same kind of a premium, but if you go 30, add half back to that, you're at 45. So that's if you use 30. So if you use 35, maybe take half of that, maybe we're at near a 50 buyout, something like that for Peloton. But we'll see. Probably my guess is, my guess maybe is that it does get done in cash because they're sub 10 billion right now.
Depends who does it though.
But 10 billion?
If one of the big names does it, but like, let's say, remember we were saying like maybe like a Garmin. Garmin I think would be more of like a combo. Like I don't think that would be it. Look, if it's Amazon, if it's Apple.
I mean, Peloton might be
Nike,
worth more than Garmin.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's like that would be like a merger. There was one just the other day where it was like close to a merger of equals.
Yeah, Garmin has 24 billion.
But speaking of Garmin, I didn't joke with my wife. I had this conversation. We don't always talk markets because she doesn't care, but. She was a triathlete, still kind of, and she's all Garmin products, and she's all about like the actual bikes. Like you put up your actual like training, like your real bike on a trainer, so you don't actually use like a Peloton or anything like that. But she said that she thought that actually would make a lot of sense for Peloton because there's a lot of people that don't like buying those expensive trainers. It puts wear on your bike. And why not have that integrated so you have another way to work out if you're into biking and cycling? And people spend a lot of money on Garmin watches, man. Like compared to what like those things are, trust me, they're pretty expensive. So I think it actually would make a bit of a fit. So someone might do it. I think the premium is likely to be large because all the premiums I'm seeing this year have been like huge.
Yeah.
And I think that has to do with, they don't always look at where the closing price is, like where it is that point. It's like usually like an 180-day or some kind of an average of the last 3 months because they've been looking at the deal for a while. So sometimes that inflates the premium if you just look at it the day the deal is announced. That might be the case with ATVI. Like that could have been in the works when that was a little bit higher. Who knows? Anyways, Peloton looking like it could be coming back into VWAP. We'll see. But $2 retracement when it's up $10, that's not that much, really.
I mean, it's a monster day today, so we'll see. What's up?
Let's go to Facebook or Meta, guys. The slide continues. We're back to basically day lows here, almost 3% again today after what ends up being a bit of a lackluster attempt at a bounce here. We got back to break even, and then it was just straight southbound from there. They even came out and said Meta is absolutely not threatening to leave Europe after some hints at that aftermarket yesterday.
That note alone got us out of our short. Like we were really cruising here. We were short, and we wanted to hold this short the whole way off these two spots. And so it turned out to be okay. But, we had to buy it back when it started to go back upside there on that move. Some of the triggers got hit, so on and so forth. But there we go. So now we'll test, because here's the long at 219. We thought we had a chance to go, and we just took an average price rate now. So, we'll wait to see. I'm long at 80, so we're flat right here on the trade. I don't love the long. Obviously, we're pushing lower. We're well below the 50 period. So, I prefer a short. Well, maybe we get bumped up here a little bit. I'm just trying to get some out. Like, if we can get out here at 218 flat, 219 flat, we will take a piece out and just relieve some of this pressure. But again, it's well below these levels. And I don't know. We've got to get above this 220. If we don't close above 220, then we are in a little bit of a hurt here. Obviously, needless to say, as it's been just quite the disaster here for Facebook. But we did pretty good today, despite taking the 220 short, which now would be fine. Battle back, very patient. Some pretty easy trades back and forth there at 223. Not much happened. But then as soon as we started to break the 50 period and we broke the VWAP and we stayed away from it, it's continuing to be a negative stock. So it's going to trade on the south side, which is why I'm saying we're nervous, a little nervous right now, nervous Nancy, about this long. So I'm actually, now that I say that, I'm going to take another piece out, a mid-80s if we can, and then just hold for a prayer. I saw Trader Prad said something like his trading strategy is like, I don't know what it was, like hold your eyes and close or something like close your eyes and pray or something like that. So I don't know. Look, if the gods want to bring Facebook back up, great, I'm here for you. But honestly, we're looking at that as a bottom 218 flat. So that's what that is. We'll take another piece out here on Facebook if it can go back up. And then we just throw it to the gods.
Yeah, somebody made a comment like, oh, Sean and Neil are in separate or different sides of the trade. I think if you look at the range that it's been in since it broke 220, you have 220 at the bottom, you have 218. Sorry, 218 at the bottom, 220 at the top of the range. There's only two things you can do with that. Either you're already in a short from the highs, which I was waiting for 230, never happened. I was waiting for 215 for longs, never happened. And then we broke that 220 after holding all morning. So either you're short off this 220 level or you're long off the bottom. And the beauty about day trading is both of those can win, not just in theory, but in practice as well. Now, I will tell you this right now, it is blind luck on that announcement, the Europe announcement, that I didn't get stopped out. Like this wicked to like 220.28. At the time, my trail was at 30. So 3 more pennies on that news spike, and I would have gotten out. Instead, it's rejecting in front of my stop, which almost every single time is going to make me want to fade that play. I already got a stop in place. So I jumped in and actually scalped the trade just to grab 50 cents of it and then just held on to what we were already in. I'm sitting in front of 216 because I was looking at 215 to be the bottom on Facebook today. It's just we're pretty range bound, but if the market comes in, Facebook has managed to always seem to come back down. And at some point, this is going to catch a bid. But someone asked about PayPal earlier, and I think for a lot of these names, a lot of times, you let it make its own bottom, or if you're trying to bottom pick where it's going to be, either you're doing two things. Either you're thinking long-term, is a long-term investor and entering at any point in this, in this downward spin when you're going to hold on to it for years, go ahead. It's really not going to make too much of a difference whether you buy at 227 and hold for 10 years or you buy it 218.27 and hold for 10 years. But if you're looking for a swing trade, let it actually make and hold a bottom. Like look what Square gave you when it held 102, 100. Those levels developed. That hasn't happened in Facebook since the earnings yet. It tried to be 230. That couldn't hold. It's trying to be that 220. That didn't hold today, although I guess it could close above 220 and then maybe we're on the way to holding some kind of a level and making a bounce back. It just hasn't happened yet. And oftentimes trying to catch the bottom as opposed to allowing it to bounce off a bottom and break out, there's a safer way to do it. And you run the risk of missing the move if you take the latter, but you know what? You're not just sitting there pulling your hair out, guessing at the low if you're trying to swing off this thing. It's just been a short, since it's gone, since the earnings, and it really hasn't had a single day where that hasn't been true as an overall trend.
Some of the vaccine makers moving around here. NVAX specifically, we'll talk about Pfizer here in a second, but NVAX, guys, basically day lows. It's been grinding along $80 even all day long, down 15% Reuters reporting in the pre-market up here that they have basically failed to deliver any vaccines that were promised. The amount that has been delivered so insignificant that it's a bit of a mess apparently. So $80 obviously significant for NVAX, but Pfizer was the one we were looking at in the pre-market this morning off of earnings. Sean, you went through that already, but I mean, a decent move for Pfizer trying to recover.
Yeah, right now it's doing nothing, but yeah, I mean, off the open, it was wild. I mean, it was just back and forth, tons of volume, big sell candle right off the open. We take advantage of that and able to grab the long and then just get it out before, again, that's the short. Oh, actually, that's getting out. That's not the short, that's getting out. And then we tested it down here at 49.50. It made its way all the way back up to the upside. And now we're short, and we actually hit a short pretty good. $52, we looked at that as a short area, and we took it. And it was just cash money all the way down. We now are trying to break upside a little bit, so I think a 51.40-ish or something like that, we'll get out, but we are still short 51.74. A good report. I mean, it's not horrible. I don't know what people are expecting. They did beat pretty much everywhere. Revenues in the 30 billion-ish range, plus another 22 billion coming from the vaccines. I guess the guide wasn't the greatest, which is going to always hurt a stock. But again, Pfizer has pipeline. You know, they have different drugs coming through. So I think it's a story that's not over yet. And, you know, the only area that I'd like this stock is $50. It's going to hold out there. They have a 3% dividend. It's not bad. But I can't recommend buying this until it's back at least above 55, which is the 50-period moving average. We can get back down here 40.50. And I don't think you hold Pfizer for a dividend. I mean, 3% is nothing. We say that. It's just it's nothing in today's market. You know, in a sideways market, it's good and it's great. You always want a dividend stock, but then you give up some upside potential. And I think Pfizer doesn't see 62 again this year. And I mean, I don't know, is that a bold statement or not? I don't know, but I don't think Pfizer comes back to $60 this year. I think the best is behind them, and they'll probably settle down to a more normalized area. And I don't have the chart up here. I don't think ours goes back that far, but you know, Pfizer generally is a pretty chilled out stock.
I was about to show the same.
Oh, you have it. Okay, yeah. So then go ahead. Yeah,
I was just about to show you. Like sometimes what happens is. And like for me, when I started getting into Pfizer as a healthcare play after the 2020, after COVID, after COVID on the way back up, it was something that it's like, okay, so you get a bit of the play on the vaccines, but as a name which has a pipeline is usually more stable. But the truth of the matter is when something goes parabolic and starts behaving differently, which is what happened after the last time it tested out that 40 level and started breaking out. It's just it went so far so fast. Like this is October of last year, and then right at the end of the year you're at 60. Like that's just too big of a move, and it's at some point with something like that, it goes from being a stable part of your like a portfolio to like, oh, now I'm overweight in something which has more volatility. And I'm not saying the only thing you can do, but one of the things that just to me makes a lot of sense is you've just got to find a way to take profit. And it never feels good when you take shares off, you know, in let's say the 50s and it goes up to 60 and you look like a bit of a chump, or at least you feel like it. But until it gets to prices where it's behaving more like it normally does, it's filling a different role in the portfolio. You can see by the volatility today. I'm not convinced the 50 level holds. My plan of action just never came in here on Pfizer. I took one short when 50 broke, and then that immediately snapped back, so I just got out of it. The short that I wanted was a fade off the highs. I wanted it in front of that 52.5, and it just never quite got there. So it was a bit of a miss off that top in Pfizer, but I tried to follow the rules and stick to the levels we like. That's worked so far in Facebook. It saved me money in GameStop, trust me, even though I'll be down on GameStop. I'd be smoked if you didn't wait for the key levels. I do want to just jump back over to, we've already talked Peloton, but that's starting to, like the market's actually starting to fall to the downside a bit more here. This is with the NASDAQ peeling off those highs. Maybe that's contributing to, I doubt it, but maybe contributing to Peloton coming back in. I am on the bid in front of 36.5 for the next leg out here. And Facebook just broke the lows. So that continues to come down. Yeah, it just feels like we can never hold a bid in the afternoon show. Like even on the days when it seems destined for us to close near the high, Sean, it's like you get to about 2:30 as we're doing this, and there's always a turn happening. So I guess we're not out of the woods yet.
No, we got to, okay, yeah, so there it is. So Facebook, again, not not a big hit, but it's 218.50 out 218. So 50 cents the other way. I told you guys we were trying to get out 219, so 50 cents worth of risk. But I mean, if you're not going to be short Facebook, then honestly, you shouldn't do anything on this name. It seems like I keep trying to. I've been back and forth here, a couple shorts, and like I said, we got stopped out of that short on the move back up there, like as if they were ever leaving Europe. Like stupid reporting there, in my opinion, anyways. Okay, so here we go. We'll have to see. It just keeps on tanking. I mean, some people had like, I don't know, like what kind of options do you have on this thing? Neil just mentioned 215. I mean, it just keeps on going to the downside here. Facebook another 3% today. Yikes. Oh, I wanted to take that PayPal break and I must have, still at 119. What is the PayPal low of the day? 119.05. So
120.
it just got taken out there, but you know, it resisted 119. So PayPal right here trying to go. I'm guessing that means Square has taken out 100 or close enough. Right back here to the 100 on Square as my chart. Like, look at this. Like, you want to talk about like, wow, no relief at all. Back down to 100 right now for Square. Wow. Yeah, its low is 99.50 made today. So you're gonna have to watch out for that one. But maybe PayPal is the bouncer here. Maybe you get a bounce off PayPal. I mean, if you want to play that, you can. But you know, it is what it is right now, and this market just looks like it just wants to keep.
This might seem a bit random.
Lower.
Like, it's not to change something. When you put up that chart of Square, that made me think of something. And look, I actually still have some shares of Silvergate, so take this as like I still own shares of the stock. I'm not trying to trash on them, but with the move that's happening in crypto, like holding 40,000, making the run, topping out 45 today, even though it's pulling back. Look at like this is what Silvergate did in that time. Held the bottom end of the range here, trying to get through this 120 top. If we go back through 40,000 on Bitcoin, like this stock might take out the lows. Like that'd be my fear here. Like it's just, it should have pushed back and maybe gotten back above the 200 on this recent move. Like that was a pretty convincing run that we just had from like 33 all the way up to 45 recently, and you're essentially getting like a very small move in here. I know they're making some other plays. They'll get their stable coin, bought that tech from Meta, I suppose, the DM tech, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like that's telling me that this is a name that has a lot of downside risk. Personally, I still, like, you should never care about your cost base. If you think something has gone too far too fast, sometimes just get out of all of it. Don't even hold a little bit. But if it breaks these lows, I think we could be testing 50 on this stock. It should have gone more than it just did in that recent run in crypto, and you've actually seen relative weakness. So it was, for whatever reason, it was just seeing the square chart or the block chart that made me think of that. But yeah, I'd watch out on this one. It just can't seem to break out. Of course, it could prove me wrong by breaking 130 in the next week and running a bit, but that has yet to happen.
That's up on Tesla here. Looks like Biden speaking on his investment into all things EV in the U.S. is actually saying some pretty nice things about the company itself and its investment into the U.S. and some of the technology. So, which I believe is a change for Biden. I don't think he's ever mentioned Tesla by name before, but a little bit of a volume spike. We're up nicely anyways on Tesla there, but heads up, Biden speaking right now on that. I want to mention NVIDIA here as well, because a nice recovery here. I mean, the market coming off a little bit, NVIDIA holding up pretty well after this happened this morning. SoftBank comes out and says, yeah, that deal's done as far as trying to get rid of ARM to NVIDIA. Not going to happen. And in fact, they later came out and said they're exploring spinning it off into its own IPO over in the Chinese market.
That's probably the best thing for NVIDIA. Let them spin off the IPO, and then it will go down 90%, and then they could just buy it straight cash, homie. So we'll have to see what's going on. I mean, look at GFS, look at all that stuff. I mean, I bet you that they wish they had got something done privately as well. You don't want to come to market in this market right now, but obviously NVIDIA today, no worse for the wear, man. I mean, they are, and the NASDAQ's up and NVIDIA's down. But, I think that's what we had to have. Oh, that's still the split. You have to have some sort of an idea that deal probably wasn't going to happen. I mean, unlike Xilinx is already done for AMD, so was expecting to get a nice positive result for NVIDIA, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So we just move forward with NVIDIA. I think they have the best. We already know this. The GPUs, they can't even keep them in business, in stock. And I feel like this 210. I mean, if we see it again, that's fantastic. That's a great buying opportunity down here near 200. Remember, this is the split. So the split happens here, and we go to $200 on the split. And then since then, it went all the way back up to 330, and now back down again. So, the split adjusted price is back down here near 200. So I feel like some of these dips are great buying opportunities. Here on the 1 minute chart, you're bouncing off VWAP right now, so there is an opportunity there. We've already come back. This news is already in down there. It rocketed up to 250 on some market moves today, and now we're bouncing off VWAP. So I believe NVIDIA is fine. Look, I mean, yesterday I told you, yesterday I went in there and bought more Facebook. That hasn't worked out today. Well, it's fine, down 3%. But here on NVIDIA, I like the name. I think they're producing and performing just as well as AMD. And today, AMD up that 2.5%, right? And NVIDIA down. So I think that if you're interested in the space, I would today pick up some more NVIDIA. I mean, it's down. AMD's up. They're in the exact same space. They compete for the exact same business. So for me, I would take NVIDIA today over AMD just on a daily. But again, play with one of the stronger names. There goes PayPal. We are long this name. Let's take a piece out for 40 cents if we can get it. But that's that. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it.
I just wish I'd looked a little bit closer at NVIDIA because, I mean, you look at this, it didn't quite get there, but looking at this breakout price since the split, that 230 and a half, certainly that's a good level of support. It kind of tested about $10. Now I can't zoom out. There you go. It kind of tested $10 higher at that 240 level. And sometimes in this recent market, there's been these key flat or even dollar levels here in 240. Look at the wick bottom. Like it breaks 240 just barely and then just starts zooming the upside, trapping shorts at an even dollar level. And someone asked about these wicks on the chart. So there'll be, you get dark pools that will print prices late, days late, weeks late, whatever it might be, and you'll get these wicks on the chart. The easy way to tell, if NVIDIA fell $17, it'd be a volume candle. It wouldn't do that without a volume spike, so it's obviously not a real print. The one thing I will say is in defense of ARM is a more mature company than Global Foundries. Global Foundries doesn't make money. So I think that would have been a pretty big win for NVIDIA. However, the reaction that the market gave you today was, after things settle down, buying it up, right? So that's sort of the thing. Yes, this would have been a win for them if they got it done, but most people were pricing in that would be trouble. So those that were left selling, yes, it's flat when AMD is up, but it's almost like it's up on the day because of the way that it got sold off in the morning, and then you had a very robust push back to the upside. So I think that's a strong looking chart for NVIDIA today. 230 is a great price. I just don't think we're going to be getting that anytime soon. So unless something happens with the market overall, but I think they're finally coming back down into some multiples that are making some sense, and that's what had to happen the beginning of this year. Of course, the one caveat to a lot of these names is, well, what happens if you get that half-point hike and it's a bit of a shock? Well, if you think that's going to happen, then that's probably the day or week that you want to have some money tucked away to buy some of these names that you really love.
Let's go to DWAC here because we're trying to bounce off this 82 again. As wild as yesterday afternoon was for this thing, we've kind of are grinding into a bit of a range here. Between 82 and 84 was that last high there, but got sold off pretty hard in the morning. We get all the way up to 87. Then nothing to see here, but trying to hold higher anyways, guys, which is constructive for this thing.
It is. And I know you're going to talk about you know what? I know you're going to talk about the long. I'll show you quite possibly the worst single. I came in all morning and I was talking about the possible head and shoulders, 85 and 87, and then did two things wrong. Well, one of them I don't think was wrong because when you broke 80 to the downside, that changed the limits of the limits of my trade, where I'd want to take a fade off the pre-market low. So once you had the movement at the open, that opened up a trade that wasn't necessarily there when I thought it was testing higher. So that's fine. We adhere to our stop there and don't actually get carried away with it. Then it goes into the 85, 87 range on the 15-minute that we loved. Got the short 86 one time, it stopped out, and then this is sort of the problem, right? It goes to 86.80 at the exact same time There was basically a move happening in another stock. It reopened, whatever. It was right after we finished the close show, and I just missed out on this trade. And this was exactly what I was looking for, 85 to 87. It tests the 87, consolidates right back at that short price and falls like a rock. So you can have the setup all you want, but sometimes the opportunity cost of trading multiple symbols at once means you're not there when it happens. You're not on the level 2. And that's not a stock that you just want to leave a random order sitting in front of 87. You know, that's a good way to possibly get run over, but a bit of a missed opportunity for me there in DWAC. So it's going to happen to you. Like, it's one of the reasons for sure that I'm not going to have a great day today, because that's a trade I got to have. Like, that's easily, like, if you're going to trade counter trend, like I'll usually be shorting something like this, I've got to have that win. Like, it's just, that was the setup. That was easily the one I liked the best in that target range, and it's the one that never broke that level. So I should have had it. I didn't. Sean got the long on DWAC, which was certainly a good move, and all three of those names actually traded today. I just feel like DWAC was the most volatile. CFVI I know moved as well, fun move, but DWAC was, I think, the most exciting today.
Yeah, we had DWAC on the sticky note today, and it went right to the level, and we didn't get out. So I'm going to consider it a big win, but just not traded properly right here. If this ever loads up, we have DWAC right here. Could pop through 86. That's exactly what happened. We're long at 82 down here, right there on 82.50. It was on the 82 break, so we took the 82 break long. We got 82.20s. Our first out was 83.20 for the dollar. So we've already made a clean dollar. We could take a dollar again, I feel like, easily right now, but we're gonna hold for an 80 break. This was the 86. We called that. We just weren't sitting there to take it out. So yeah, missed opportunity, and I didn't have any pending orders, but you know, it should have been like, if I was watching this, again, just as easy as the short was, like if my target's gonna be 86, when it broke back down through 86, that's where we should have got out. So we'll wait to see. I mean, I don't think the move is over. So DWAC still has a great opportunity to go here today, and that's why we're holding it. And hey, if it doesn't go, then we're out at 80. So hey, it'll be a positive name for us. I'm hoping this was out of 2/3, and then we held that last for the home run. So we still are in DWAC, hoping that it has a late day move. This time, hopefully, we'll be able to get out at 86.
A lot of questions come in around here about charting. We're going to jump into some easy but repeatable patterns that you can look for in charts on a daily basis to improve your ability to find winning trades, some of which, guys, occur even before the market opens on a daily basis. So let's kick things off here and talk about some basic charting patterns that everyone can use.
Absolutely. We'll leave that one for the pre-market, I think, for Sean's going to hit you with a good one. And look, I actually wanted to talk about some of your more normal, like you'll read about charting patterns like, oh, your bull flags and your head and shoulders.
You can Google those.
But then I thought about something which maybe is a little bit more simple to look at. And I feel like is a higher percentage play for those people that are trying to hit bigger trades. And that was just look for, it's a gap fill. And I'm going to use the example of Lucid here on the daily chart, just because first things first, if you're looking for a gap fill, you want something which is put in some parabolic moves and had big price swings. So you have Lucid last year, 22 all the way up to 62. But what stands out was this breakout here, which had support at about 27.50, broke this level 28.5, 29, and then was the first charge into a break to 62. But the key is its first pullback from that huge breakout was at $33. You then had a monster move up, continuation there, and then support at $33. But not small support. This is support for the entire month of December in front of 33. After it comes back almost 50%. You have a month's worth of support at 33. It even tries to bounce, goes almost 50% from there, and then retests 33. So when that level breaks, you've got a good $3 to $4 worth of room below it, where previously on the way up there was a liquidity vacuum, and it's about anticipating the trend is to the downside, support has been broken, and what you have is a potential wipeout trade. This is what happened the day that it broke it. At the open on Lucid. You could have had this, look, if you tried to fade the trade, fair enough, you get a bigger win. But when it took 33, it was within a half an hour, it was already down at 30. It tried to check up. It then touched all the way down to 29. It tried to check up again, ended up right at that 28.50 level, filling in the entire gap on the day. Maybe you don't always fill in the gap, but the potential for a bigger move is there because of that vacuum. Everybody sees that, and a lot of more stops are going to be at a level like that, which allows you to play that move. It works in both directions, but the key thing you have to look for is you want a strong price movement away from that price. You then want confirmation that the support in front of the gap is big, whether it's support or resistance, that there was legitimate support, and then finally you look for that break, and that allows you to hold that short. Like, you're not getting that short 33 to get out at 32. You're taking a short at 33 to get out at 30, to get out at 29, to hit a home run style trade. Maybe it doesn't come up as often, but you know what? When you see it, it's a little bit more obvious to spot those big gaps.
Okay, so yeah, great gap look. And then as Neil mentioned, why not just look at something as simple as the pre-market? I mean, you know, you got to sort of put on your trader hat and figure out what kind of style of trader you're going to be. And if you are going to be a scalper and scalping trades, this is the best opportunity here every single day when you find a name that you like. And let's just go over to AMD today. Obviously, it's more aggressive than the market. They were up in the pre-market. It was a good move today for AMD. They had the NVIDIA news there. So we knew AMD was going to try to go. The stock market, also the NASDAQ, was positive in the pre-market. So what we're looking for is, again, look at this level being formed. And I like kind of when it barcodes like this. You know, you have a bottom here of 122.50, and then these top levels, forget about the wicks. So that's the one thing I want to tell you is we don't have to worry about these wicks, because when you're looking at pre-market wicks, as long as there's no huge volume here, some of these spike ups are just dark prints and things like that that are just, they're not there to trick you, but they don't serve a great amount of purpose in my opinion. So anyways, that's what you're looking for. And what you're looking for is just a pre-market top. This day, it actually coincides with a nice level. I like to look for 50s, 25s, even 75s. So when you're at some quarters like that, right here, here's the pre-market high, 123.50. So here, the market opens up down here. We're low. We're still in this range. We don't know what to do. Bouncing back and forth, back and forth. But here's the break right here. And there it is, 123.50. Wait for that, it's right here. And then you get a big move up. Look at that move up. That's $1 straight, just in the same candle. It's actually two candles, but virtually the same minute, you go all the way back up a straight dollar. So for me, that's a quick hitter. Those are the ones you're looking for, and then you can see what AMD eventually does, continues to go back up, but this is what you can get right off the open. You take these pre-market levels on stocks that you know are runners, and you just pound it, hit it, and quit it, in and out as fast as possible. There's a bunch of different examples we can show you, but I think this is a good one here for AMD today. The one I was going to show you, actually, let me just hit my blotter here. For Peloton was another example that I thought was pretty decent. Here's the pre-market, again, basing down here at 28.50, and then the high right there, again, forget about these wicks, just happens to be at $30. So we take that, and then sure, goes against us 50 cents. That's fine. There's the dollar win, and then there's the cruise to the upside again. So you take some of these pre-market breaks on stock that you know are going to be in play, and hey, why not? You have your out, could be the pre-market bottom, which doesn't get hit, and then your outs for the upside, as we can see what happens at Peloton, it just continues to go. So that's, you know, charting patterns that I like, quick hitters in the pre-market.
DWAC, another great example of that today, guys. It's not, and worth mentioning here, it's not just randomly finding a stock that's trading in the pre-market and going long above the high or short below the low. Find something that has a news catalyst and try and look for a move in that direction. Significant levels get put in the pre-market when there's an additional catalyst. There's a couple of very simple charting patterns that you can look for too every single day. Mandiant, MNDT. I don't know why I'm so excited about that, but FireEye. It's formerly FireEye. Halted here. Microsoft apparently looking at this thing. So halted currently, but there's a tick way up here, guys, at 1640. So 9% there for MNDT.
Okay, I'm calling me a bit confused because there's a lot of prints at that 1643, and there's a lot of D prints here. But anyways, Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that Mandy, and it's done significant volume. Like, this was actually trading pretty heavily before, so I'd expect it's interesting. But I want to go to Facebook here. Meta, whatever. So I was saying in the chat there, now that it's actually broken the low again, because that's what it's been doing, I'm going to adjust the stop. I want to make sure I'm trailing this. I was going to give it to 220 before. It was actually 220.30 just above the quarters. Now that it's rolling downside, I was looking at 215. I have to go far enough back on the daily chart to show it. So, yeah, trust me, it's there. But it's also that round $5 level. 225 top, 220 support breaks. 215 is pretty logical. I am sitting in front of the 16 level, but once I move my trail, and I haven't really done it yet, I kind of want to play it by this like 217.60 to 218 area, like this price range. So what I want to do is allow it to maybe trade back into that price range, see what it does in there, sort of take a line from Ruin, see how it behaves. Does it add some acceleration? And then I'd put the stop in at the top side. But if it's pretty weak, then I might not actually put that trail in at all. So we'll see. Right now it's breaking down toward the lows again, so we might actually get that 216 price. Just sort of insane, the price action that's been going on in Facebook. And I don't necessarily think, like I'm with you, Sean, like that, like the story about them, not leaving Europe. That headline got the algos to buy, which did trigger some stops, but I think it was just sort of going back to regular business after that settled down. That's why you got to be really careful trading that initial reaction to news, because make sure you read the headline and it makes sense to you. Because there are a lot of algos out there that'll just do the whole rudimentary, is this headline positive or negative, and then try to buy it up in a situation like that. And if you just sort of bought that at the highs, you got burned. If you bought that off the 18 lows, well, fair enough. Like, you actually made some profits. But buying those tops on those big volume wicks can be a bit dangerous, as you can see with Facebook here.
Just getting my stop order set up here because we just get onto Peloton again, and we'll just see where it goes from here. I don't know. I thought it took out the 50 period. We'll give it back here a little bit, 36.90 or so. It looks like it doesn't want to go, but whatever. This is look, see 16's not breaking. Yeah, nah. A lot of volume, like 223 million shares, and we can't break through a level that's showing 100. Well, there it goes. Okay, hopefully it'll work. We'll wait on that one. DWAC right now $1.80 in the money and pushing. DWAC, let's see if we touch that 87 one more time. We knew there was going to be a possibility for that. So, and then I want to look at MNDT, the name that Brendan just brought to us. It did open back up. It opened up about 18-ish. On the reopen, it does get big halt to the upside right there, and this is just what it looks like. I can't make the chart too much better than this just because it's such a huge move, but 15 bottom, 18 high, and if you look at a 20-minute, that's not going to work. It was the daily. You see, this is 18 bucks right here. The highest we've ever been on this is 19.25 or so. So again, I guess a recent IPO because there's no SPAC here, unless it turned into a SPAC and just opened up at 17. But right here, 19.25. So if you're looking for a long here, MNDT, you break this high, I don't know, I guess we would halt again, depending on where it comes from, but it feels like it didn't go down that much there on that move, so maybe we do test that high for MNDT here, trying to take it out. I mean, it might be worth a long on an 18 break, guys. I mean, you may halt up to 19. Here it comes through 18 again. Maybe it's worth testing a long here.
Yeah, like crazy movement there. The Microsoft going on shopping sprees, just seeing deals everywhere. Hey, man, when you've got the cash burning a hole in your pocket, or maybe it's not burning a hole in their pockets, but literally, but when you've got that happening, sometimes you go out there proactively and look for deals. So, that's trading like gangbusters. So you do watch out for halts on that. Like, in the afternoon, maybe we don't see as many halts because there's less time, but certainly if that were to take out the top, it's already shown you we can halt once. So we did get into that price area. Like, we just barely broke 217.15 and then put in an immediate rejection. So I'm talking about Facebook here. So Facebook gets right into that 17 area, 17 and a half, immediately rejects and starts heading back down toward the low. If we bounce back at the bottom, now I'll say to myself, okay, well, if it tries to get above this a second time, decent chance it could try to put a reversal in. So I'm going to put the trail. It turned close enough to 215, the target, that I think it's going to make some sense to start putting that trailing stop in. So I'll go like 217.75. So it has to break somewhat definitively above this high here, and then we'll just trail out of the last of Facebook. That way it's not going to be any worse than a couple of bucks worth of winner. And maybe we do open the idea that we can get, that $3, maybe even $3.50, $4 to the downside at that 215 area. Could happen, we'll see. But at this point, we have about an hour left in the day to see what it can do. And speaking of what it can do, Peloton did get me another leg as we're sort of talking there. I was able to get 36 halves out in front of VWAP. I'm on the other side of VWAP now, sitting in front of 35 even. So forget about VWAP. I'm just looking, that had one dip that rejected 35 even, and that'll be my last out. It's a super strong stock. It just doesn't feel like it has a bigger capitulation in it. And you might see I'm in select quote, which I've been in all day long. There are some names, if you watch the morning show, I actually didn't think we'd get a shot at this because all I wanted to do, it was similar to Pfizer down in the earnings. I just wanted to fade it off the pre-market high and what was the post-market bottom, which was 350. And it just gave you no chance to get in off the open, down 50%. Short sell restricted. It tanked all the way to $2.50 and just sat it out, waited. And it finally came all the way up to 350. It gave 3 opportunities testing that level. I shorted it each time on the way back down. It hasn't been able to break VWAP, but been able to get out in front of 3 even. I am holding on to the last bit just in case it has one other move left in it. Brendo?
Double checking to make sure that was in fact a volatility halt, not a news pending halt. So nothing certain anyways on this yet. Wanted to bring everyone up to speed on where this came from. So if you remember going back to, I guess it was kind of fall to the end of last year, there was a part of McAfee that was broken up and FireEye was broken up to form this Trellix and also Mandiant. So Mandiant comes from a portion of FireEye and a portion of these other two that they spun off. So this kind of breaks down, what is FireEye, what is Mandiant, and what is the rest of them. Anyways, so that happened going back a few months ago. So I just want to make sure everyone was up to speed. So this was a part of what used to be FireEye, guys. That's why there's not much on the daily chart over here.
I just broke 18, so we went long. So it's about, no matter what it is, thanks, Brendan, that makes a lot of sense, why we couldn't find the chart there on our system anyways. Someone put in the chat, the high was 25 and change on this name. So we'll just wait to see where it goes. I'm in this. The top had been 18.15 on that break. That's only 15 cents. We couldn't be fast enough to get that, and nor would have I offered that anyways on that play. But right now, 18.20, looking to take that out. And if it goes, great. If not, then we're going to get out down here 17.50. So, it looks like it's just dancing around right here. This is not a big position, just kind of like waiting to see if it does take off. We want to have something on. So I don't even have any offers. Let's just wait to see where it goes. We are ready to strike out, though, if it breaks 17.50, because we don't need that to come back down again. So we'll wait for that to go off and happen here. So that's that trade. It does look like DWAC. Did that just halt? No, it didn't. And again, it goes right up to 86 again, and I didn't do anything about it. So there we go. We had another $3 winner on DWAC. Now it's come back in, and it looks pretty stable, but it did take off there again, up to 85.60. So, right into this area. So if you're trading with bigger shares on it, I'm already out at 2/3, but if you're trading with a full position or something that's going to matter to you, this doesn't really, that's why I'm waiting for it to go higher. You may want to look at an 85 out. Like it's close right now. If you're long anywhere down here, we've already resisted this a couple times. Nothing wrong with taking a piece out, capturing some profit, and then waiting either to reload or holding out for that big move back up to the upside. So always something to look at. We did take a shot there on Peloton, and in and out there. Not much happened. We thought that it would want to break that top, but as you can see, looks like it's a 30-cent hit or so. 27 out 80, out 90s. So, a 40-cent hit there on Peloton, as that's now starting to continue to make a move back. And then I'm going to take one last shot at Facebook. It doesn't look like it wants to go, obviously, upside, but the fact that we do have Peloton, they just got some notes. Some other dude is leaving here. Head of commercial. I don't know, commercial what? Commercial lending. Okay, 218. So I was looking at 218 here, but maybe we get a little more aggressive. I prefer to 218 bid because it has to take this out first. to get above, and then maybe that 218.20 or so comes through. So we'll have to watch on Facebook, but that is that trade right now, waiting to see if it makes any sense to go long. It seems like we have a nice bottom, but again, like it's just been faded off every single time it's taken this out. So maybe Facebook doesn't want to go up today, down that 3.5%. Yuck. Today is the 4th day. So 3-day rule we bought yesterday. We'll see what happens today. It's a couple upgrades away from going back to 230, which wouldn't surprise me anyways, but we still need those upgrades to come. It doesn't look like they are. Maybe Google's a better buy down here.
Yeah, and there's one thing. I was searching for the word this morning, and we were talking about Velodyne a little bit this morning. And I know there's not much of a trade to go to it, but certainly this is a name that it was up on that deal with Amazon. And, deal with Amazon, like the warrants at 418. And oddly enough, like it did find gravity towards that price and bounced all morning. I'm a little surprised. I actually thought it might bounce off that 14. It just broke the lows itself. I got out in front when it couldn't break over and over again. And you're actually seeing it fall a little bit further. And again, sometimes the market gives you your cue, right? Like, you know, we gap up in the aftermarket on the news of the deal. When you realize, of course, that, it's called like the part of the agreement is called like a standstill agreement. It wasn't a poison pill, but basically like stopping Amazon from getting a bigger stake and taking more control of the company or some kind of a takeover. So when you see it gap down after that positive news, then you see it hold the top, not just like a couple of wicks up at the top in the pre-market, and then when it tries to make a bottom off $5, breaks 5 early in the pre-market here, tries to take out the high again, doesn't even get close, rolls over, and then takes out 5, it just falls like a rock. So a lot of times the pre-market tells you, like it gapped up, filled the gap in without any real trading happening in the early morning, and then failed multiple times to break the highs. That can tell you where the momentum's going in a name like that, even though it's going to show up, and this morning it did, on your gap to the upside list. All of the momentum since the news was really coming back in. I did put in that trailing stop on Facebook now because it does feel like it's running into some trouble at that 217. I know, Sean, you just talked about the long, but it's holding a higher low at 217. So my trail is above this little cluster right here, 217.75. If it breaks out, I'm getting out. DWAC, I would have gone short. If this move was closer to 87, that's what I'm waiting for. Like, it's got to be up to that 87 area one more time. Don't want to be trading this away from the price level that I like. So we're going to try and be a little bit, try at least to be a little bit disciplined there. What did make a move, by the way, and of course, it's like you're looking at DWAC and CFVI makes the bigger move. CFVI broke and then actually got right to $17 on a dime, and then it pulled back. So the only trade now would be off of 17. If it breaks 17, by the way, is to show you guys on the 15-minute. Like if we, there we go. Gotta go over here. If we break 17, just to show you how much room there is from here up towards this 1850 top. This one could really start to go, but there was previous support at 17. I think that's why you're seeing a bit of a failure here. Double top when you look at it, but 17 even, certainly a resistance on CFVI.
Yeah, I was glad you talked about that one. DWAC moving, and we are in to a new position right now as we take a little bit of Microsoft ahead of VWAP. Okay, I mean, here we go. Microsoft's been my #1 stock for a while now, but it looks like, oh man, like it looks like he just wants to take that out. I thought we were starting to go to the upside there, and we did capture a little bit of profit on that trade, but you could see both Facebook and Softy right now failing at taking out some of those levels that I thought they would have no problem taking out, but I guess that is just not true. We are long Microsoft right now at 303.20. I don't know, I'm getting a little nervous about this trade. We've averaged into it. I was hoping that we would hold that level. It looks like we have, but you can see here the futures are really what's going to lead the way here for me. You know, we could break back down, which it looks like we're trying to do. Yeah, there it goes. Like, we're not even trying to hold these bottoms. You know, it's just a tough day. It's not tough. It's been a tough, what is it, Tuesday? I was going to say it's been a tough week for bulls, but I mean, the week's, there it goes. The week's not even over. I mean, it's not holding any key levels. That's it. So every time the market drops down, these are small little cuts. But again, take a little bit of profit, then get dumped out on the short side. So there it goes, continues to make moves down. I guess if you hold any shorts into the close, that's going to be a winning trade. So do that. Facebook tried, man. Facebook tried to go again. Like, look, it got real close. I'm glad it didn't go because we would have got knocked out of that. But because we'd be almost out right now. But that 217.70, maybe that's the only thing that has a chance here. So we're going to watch out for that. Microsoft's probably back up now. Yeah, there it is. So, I mean, this is what I mean. How many times are you going to go to the well on this? The moves don't seem to be sustainable. But I don't know, maybe one more time here on Softy. That was a bottom wick down to 80. We could probably give this one more go.
I mean, at least it's relatively, holding up pretty nicely. Like Softy up almost 1%. Apple, I'm noticing that. Oh, one thing that we didn't talk about for the NVIDIA thing, like so ARM, basically, ARM supplies like a lot of people, and it was like Qualcomm and Microsoft were very outspoken about the deal not going through. But a lot of the chip makers competition are actually strong today because that deal is not going through. The idea being that NVIDIA would then possibly favor themselves. For support. But anyways, that's why some of the other chip makers are pretty strong. CFDI is making another run at that high of the day. So out of the corner of my eye, I'm kind of watching DWAC, see if it goes to that 87. But a 17 break on CFDI could be coming any second now. So I want to make sure I get a stop in here. Let's go. And sometimes it's constructive to look at names in a somewhat pseudo space. They're not exactly the same, but they kind of can move lockstep whether it's AMC, GameStop. And then prefer one long, prefer one short. I like the break on CFEI because like I showed you, there's just room to the upside. Whereas like that's the level of resistance at 87 is way more established on DWAC if it got to that high than it is on CFDI, which is going pretty strong, trying to form this flag for a bit of a breakout here. So I am going to get that stop lock and loaded. As usual, if it gets way too close to 4 o'clock, I'd probably go ahead and cancel that if we haven't broken out. But looking pretty strong for now. I don't see a lot of longs that I love down here. It's just hanging on to the 3 shorts we got. I'd love to see a clean break here on CFDI. You could make the argument that Peloton probably should have been a reversal at 36, and I should have got out of that. But I'm getting close to putting a trail on that as it continues to bounce off VWAP.
Like, how stupid is this? And then Microsoft goes right back up, and then thank God we got some more shares here at 303.10 or 11, whatever price I'm at now, 11s. We just got them out at 58. So there you go. Like, just to show you, like, it's like we got stopped out. We should never got stopped out there. But again, if I give this a little bit more room, then we're probably stopped out at the very bottom. So yeah, about that. Happy to take this long back, and that's another 50. Like the loss right here is what? That's long at 15s about, and then we got out at 99s. So that's about a 20-cent hit. That's 50 cents right there, but whatever. We're hoping for more on Microsoft, and I don't mind trying it one more time. If it can come back down, we'll try it again. But look what just happened to Facebook. Like, the market's starting to go to the upside. Look at Facebook. Like, new lows. Like, so there you go. Like, that's what I mean. Good thing we didn't touch that. I'm canceling that. Facebook, honestly, it doesn't even want to think about going up. So we'll down to 216, still cracking lower. Almost like there's more news on Facebook right now. The pressure all afternoon is just straight down, like straight to the downside, and there it goes, more. Give us more, Facebook, as the market just absolutely collapsing here. Not the market.
I mean, the market's not, though. That's the thing.
The market's not, but I mean, we'll probably go red in the market at some point. Ooh, that MDT got above 18 again. So we still are long MDT right now. We're waiting for one piece, a third of it, out at the day's high. If we can get 40, great. Here it comes, MDT rocking and rolling. Brendo?
Yeah, nothing new, guys, on Meta, it would appear at this point. Wanted to mention AXP as well, 2.8% here, trying to bounce off 192.5, which was that resistance. This is all-time highs up here for American Express having a huge day.
So I've done that thing where I've moved my trail again on Facebook. Someone asked if am I scalping out the profits in Facebook. I did scalp a portion of this when playing off that level, and any breakdown, I'm always going to do that. So that's come and gone. Like, now it's a bigger move. Think of it this way: you can play off a key level for a big break and a hold. You can play it for like a scalp trade, or you can do it for both. Which, when you're day trading, there's not a heck of a lot of reason why you can't just try to do both. In this particular case, I've moved my trail. I'm going to be a lot tighter. Like, the further it goes down, what do I have to? The further it goes down, the tighter I want this to be, because you get a capitulation bottom that jams back up when the market isn't like the market's not tanking right now. The NASDAQ's still up. It's finding a bit of base. Sure, it could roll over, but if Facebook puts in a wick bottom, I don't want to give away like a couple of dollars when I only have 50 minutes for the rest of this trade to work. So my trail is now just above the previous low here. That should lock in $3 worth of profit and allows me to hold for 215s. So it's either going to be a $3 winner or we're going to get down to that 215 and we'll win 4 to 4.5, something in that range, as Facebook just continues to absolutely flush. I'm still checking back in. CFVI is still holding top end of the range. It's about, it's 1670, so it still could put in a 17 break. If the market really starts to crap, I probably don't like that breakout, but as long as we're holding some kind of support here, I still don't mind going with that long. We're still up on the day here. Come on.
It must just be stopping at real shares. Like, why? I'm sitting at 34 on this name. The high of the day's 34, and it just doesn't want to print. So, like, I guess it's just dark pools here. It says the high of the day's 38, but I don't know. I'm sitting at 34, so I guess it's just dark pooling around this MNDT. It should be a good winner for us, but okay, come on. There it is. So finally, okay. We get printed when it rips through it, so that's fine. There it is, a good one for us. We'll go, oh my God. And let's see where we go now for this name. Hopefully we go upside, and there it goes right now, long at 1804 on MNDT, still going, go. Let's see how far we can go now. Hopefully we halt again, and then we'll get out on the halt. I mean, it's going to have to go up to $20 before it halts, but we'll get out on that print if it does go all the way to the upside. There goes MNDT. Thank you, Brendan, for this story, as there it goes. And I hope you guys in the chat are also on this name. We're long at $18, and there it is. Nice little win there. DWAC, 85.50. I'm just going to put an offer at 86, man. If we get 86, we'll be happy with $3 and get away from that one. But right now, MNDT taking 19s right here. So maybe we just offer out 19, take the clean dollar, and then if it starts to moon from that point, we'll deal with that. But right now, MNDT, a nice little win to the upside. As there goes the market. See you later. We'll see where we go from here. Microsoft, 70 cents in the money.
Here we go, that market bounce to the upside. I'm going to hit more football graphics because it's Super Bowl this week. Why not?
Right.
But I talked about the trail. I put the trail in tighter on Facebook there. In addition to trailing, we end up with the 3, not the $4.5, $5 trade, obviously. But right as that was happening, there were these 10,000 share orders that just kept throwing them. People just kept throwing, or somebody kept throwing 10,000 share orders to the offer and got filled, like bang, got filled on the offer. Threw another one, bang, got filled on the offer. Happened like 3 or 4 times there. Is somebody, I mean, I don't, like, who knows? Like, maybe they're initiating short doesn't make any sense, but somebody was dumping shares at the bottom. When they stopped, actually, they have not stopped. I just saw them again show up there on the level 2 on Facebook. Yeah, and they keep getting filled. Like, it's not like they're not getting the fill. They're throwing the 10,000 below 17, and they're essentially getting filled at will. So somebody is buying that size when it shows up on the offer. So in addition to trailing me out here, some serious buying actually coming into Facebook, as you see the ES now back to 45 hundo. So that's definitely a good sign. Of course, like I was sort of saying, if the market turned around, maybe you'd get a breakout on CFVI. This is me canceling my stop order. When it puts in a capitulation candle or not, when it puts in a reversal candle like this off of that 17 level, I don't leave my stop order in, because for it to get to 17, it has to overextend itself and then break the high. That could be a bit of a trap. I would rather the consolidation break on CFVI, but that looks like it's going to come the other way. So just holding on to Peloton here, which while the market was going up and Facebook recovered, this just continued to go sideways a little bit there. So we'll see what happens. Peloton, it's deep enough in the money. I said I was going to trail it. What I'm looking at now is probably somewhere closer to like this 37.5, 38. But at this point, with the market starting to boom here and Peloton going sideways, it does feel relatively safe. That can change. A lot can change going into 350, and we still have like 30, 40 minutes till the imbalances even come out.
So I actually thought my 99s got hit up here, but it was just Microsoft going crazy. We're waiting at 99. It went to 97.50 here. So we missed it by $0.015, MNDT. So we'll wait there now. And we're actually waiting at 80 because we missed, unbelievable, 2 pennies. There goes Microsoft, though. So yes, sir. I mean, sometimes we put the money trades on, and here it is right now. Microsoft back up to the upside on that explosion. It sucks because we should have way more shares down here, but we did get stopped out. We took another shot at it, and now here it climbs to the upside, 305, $1.50 now in the money for MSFT. Looking at these levels, 304, 305. Look at the NASDAQ, now up 1% today. So still looking to take some of these out. I mean, do we get back up to the highs of the day? Not sure, but there it goes. Nice move up for Softy. Let's just hold on to the winner right now as it's still making moves to the upside. Facebook did battle back a little bit there, so anybody on that? Oh, first of all, DWAC, I'm waiting at 86. So if this does go up, you're already in the money 250 on this name. We could just get out right now, put 250 in our pocket. Really, really close to debating that, but you know, we'll wait on it. For now, that MNDT, come on. We're at 80. It stopped at 80 again. Like, I cannot make this shoot up. Like, there it is. I'm at 80. And it stops at 80 and then just turns around on a dime.
Even dollars.
There it is. Yep. Nothing to do.
It's weird, man. Sometimes, I don't know.
I was at 99 there. It stops at 97. Like,
what gateway are you using?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I switched it up.
That's just weird.
Now I'm on Arca, but I was on Bats up here. So.
What happens is you get paranoid when that happens enough times. It's just like, what's going on there?
Well, I think we know what's going on.
No, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we had this discussion about the market being rigged. It's like they run into orders that aren't being lifted. But
yes.
Anyways, okay, all right, Microsoft right now, still that $1.50 in the money, not really worrying about that. We said we should have took DWAC, now it's back down, so that's another position. We could check out Peloton, probably back, yeah, see,
it's bouncing.
Ahead of where we had it, of course, but there goes Peloton back to the upside. And again, I'm fine with that out, but you know, we'd be nicely in the money now if we still had this, but we don't. So for me, Peloton's gonna be a stay away from that. And then Pfizer, we're getting close, man, a 51.50 break, we're out of Pfizer, but Pfizer's been, you know, my best stock today. So we crushed it here and did really good on this short. And now we're still holding the short against that 51.50. So that's the Pfizer trade.
Yeah, like you said, Peloton, it's trying to go, but it's a strong move in the market. I still feel that bounce back and testing the upside. So you know, I feel pretty good about the fact that you're not really screaming here in Peloton, and it should be moving to the beat of its own drum. I was just looking at AMD here. This is getting pretty spicy off this 128 level. It's gone here like several times. It's got a 127.97 high on AMD, up that 3%. The market's coming towards the top. This just could be one of those trades where, okay, yeah, it's super strong, but you look at this on the 15-minute chart, you go back to last time we traded above that price. This is the fall, gap up, fall back down, rejected at the open. There is one wick on the way back. Any guesses where it stopped out? 128. Then you had this tie here at 128 again. You're basically triple topping at 128. I kind of feel like risk to reward if it gets to like, you know, 80s, 85s. Just see if you can't slip in front. If it breaks 28, it's an easy out. If the market takes out a high, like if the NASDAQ makes a fresh high before it gets to 128, no need to take the trade, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm just sort of looking for something that's at a key level that's actionable, and AMD is definitely going to fit the bill. So we'll see if I can get some shares in front of, like, mid-80s is good enough risk to reward because it doesn't have to move that much for you to get a solid win, and it's relatively decent risk to 128 here at that high. But if it breaks 128, just simple out.
Like why I'm even looking at Facebook is beyond me when we just have a $2 win here on Softy that we've been hitting like perfectly all day. And we go back over to Facebook and guess what? We're long again. Oh, well, now there's size here on Facebook. So we're long again on Facebook right here at 50. So we'll see where we go now with this name. Small position though, because Facebook, right? I haven't been reading this well yesterday. Today it's been okay, but just recently we've been trying to get the longs. We did have a nice short there, but you can see that short off the open, that was disastrous. And then we had a couple good longs back, a couple good longs there into support, and then we finally get smart, short all the way down. A couple longs there, then you guys just saw me take that long at 218 out to, sorry, 218.50 out 218. So it hasn't been brutal, it's just not really catching the right, oh, there it is, the winds of change. As there it is, MNDT, we'll do the money. Because there it is right there. We take that in at 18. We talked about that break. That was a pretty easy one, just because it was bouncing around. We had to hold this against us. Not easy to capture the win, but easy to find the level on the halt. And then there it is right there. So now we're out of 2/3. So we just put this trade right back. We take this out, 1785 or so. This VWAP level, we're gone. So again, take the profit. We're long at 18. If it comes back down, then we don't have to worry about it. What just happened? I think I just got out of something. I don't know. Oh, Pfizer. Okay, good. I was going to say, woo, that's good. Pfizer out. I didn't want to get out of anything else. So Pfizer to the upside right there. We cashed that out. Again, a good trade for us on Pfizer today. The trade of the day and my best. So we'll exit that one, and now we'll just deal with Facebook and how much money I'm going to lose on this trade.
Why? We'll do.
Yeah.
I promised that we try. I don't think I hit this in the show this morning, and I should. We always hit the Valeria one every day that she's not here. She's back next week, but yeah, I don't see why you have to lose in Facebook. But anyways, great trade on Pfizer.
Because you're going long.
Fair enough. But I thought it was bouncing. I just got a trail out of my short. I thought it was bouncing. I guess that turned around. I want to get to AMD just because. So anytime taking that trade off a level like that, 128, with a tight stop like that, I'm always looking to cover some for a scalp at about 1-to-1 or maybe a little bit better than that. This is not always a home run trade. This is one of the stronger stocks in the market, but it's just identifying what is a solid top, not just on the day. It's got a double top, it's an even number, but it also provides you with that high on the 15-minute multiple times, including yesterday. And then, as I said, not at the high of the day on the NASDAQ as well. So any rejection of that high of the day gives you some cover. And I think it was Astralis on the chat there pointing out as well. You can find ETFs that are making a double top as well. So that's the thing. You look for that level of confirmation. Sure, it's an even number. Sure, it's already gone there as a high of the day. But give yourself 2 or 3 other things for that setup to make it work because you're going counter trend. At this point, because I've taken the first scalp out, it can't really turn into a loser unless I miss my stop. But it's still at 128. It's either the high of the day holds or the high day holds and we're holding on to the short, at least down to 126. About 50 looks like that bottom here. Not even VWAP. It's too strong to hope for that. Facebook is bouncing. What are we talking about?
Oh, hopefully it's bouncing. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I don't know. It's up like $1.50 since this little break at the bottom here. I think it looks okay.
Let's hope so. I am long right now. We're in the money a whopping 15 cents. So, I mean, my target, my out is right here, 219.50. So, whatever. I'm either going to get, like I said, either going to get stopped out at 217 break or so, or it just goes upside. So I think the risk reward is here, and they may not want to buy this. So I don't know. Okay, we were just, again, I put an offer here, and we didn't take it. I mean, what do we really think the market's going to do here? I think we have an upside potential into the close for sure. So we'll wait to see if that's going to be the case. But it's only 3:20. We have a lot of time left. Let's see what happens to Softy as the market now up 1.1. Softy up the same. So we'll see if it can take it out the highs of the day on Microsoft. Why not? I mean, if the market wants to go, I think we have a good name here. We're well up on this name. $1.70 now in the money. And Facebook now out of the money. MNDT, good out. So, I didn't fix my stop order on that one. So let's do that. We will fix our stop order now on MNDT. But yeah, 18 is going to be the out because that's our in. So as long as we get out at the same price that we're in at, then we definitely capture those profits. The first one, 35 cents. The second one, 80 cents. So far, so good on that. And the only problem is, like, that's out of 2/3. Like, if this falls all the way back and I get out at 17, then I erase all of this. So it's not real. I mean, it'll be a small winner, but still, erasing all of that, not worth it. So we're going to put our stop order on an 18 break for this name, and we are gone on that one. So watch out here. We just took more shares on Facebook as it's now approaching that 217. Yeah, bounce. Every time I think this thing's going to bounce is I'm going to hit the sell key. Disable my buy keys tomorrow for Facebook.
You know what's interesting? You actually can't do that in our. There's a lot of actually. We don't talk about it often.
I just had to not set sell keys.
Oh yeah, it's true. In day trade the world, there's a lot of risk controls that you can do as a manager. Like, it's actually pretty cool because if there's a trader who stinks at trading, say Amazon, you can restrict them on just Amazon.
Yeah.
You can have different max share defaults on individual stocks, which I find pretty useful. So just, you said that, I was like, yeah, you can actually do some of that stuff on the back end here at DTTW. It just got to second target, so we'll do a bit of a backflip on AMD as we get a 50-cent win. So first we scalp. It ends up not being 15 pennies. Like, the first out technically it was about 30 cents, so it was closer to 2-to-1. But when we get 3-to-1 on the next leg, at this point, now I want to see if we can hold for a bigger move. Maybe not VWAP, but certainly if you can get $1 on, if I can get $1 on the trade, I'll be perfectly happy here, finding that 128 level. Just looking for something that had multiple, not just high of the day, but multiple tests at that level. And AMD was the one I saw. Brendo? That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the Berkshire of Europe, apparently.
I don't think.
of South America.
Sorry, they didn't have sound for Brendan, so he was talking about NU.
Come on, Brendan, turn on your mic, bro.
Yeah, Neobank. That's the South. What is it? The Berkshire of South America. That's what we were just saying there. So
I still think it's below its IPO.
Sean's got the chart.
It's well below its
well
IPO.
below.
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
what is that?
Nah, that's nothing. I thought this thing IPO'd like at 12 or 13. Let's just see. It could be wrong. Maybe it's right at its IPO price. No, we're exactly right.
Yeah.
So 1050, it looks like 1050 or so IPO price on NU. So this is. If you can come to my screen here, this is the chart right here for NU. So there's the IPO. It's had its best day already, falling down, and I don't know where that spike comes from, but there it is, back to $9. Invest in this at your own peril. But I said the same thing for Dave, and then that started to run up. I mean, let's check out Dave right now. That makes
but you know what that is?
Think about that. What?
So, like, one of these things that's been happening in the market recently, and you've probably noticed it with, what was that one today, or yesterday? Crap, it's going to bug me. Something VCT, CSLT? No, something else. So anyways, you get these IPOs and or SPACs that are ridiculously low float. So there's only like 1 million or 2 million shares out there, and then you get a pseudo squeezes on them. It's not a short interest squeeze. It's just a lack of liquidity. And then all it has to do is get, I guess, talked up or pumped, whatever, on whatever chat or, message board, Twitter, whatever it happens to be. And then you get a de facto squeeze on the stock because there's not a lot of shares available. And it just essentially runs to the upside. And that's what felt like was happening on Dave a few times. And I had mixed success one day shorting it. I missed it at 15. And now you're right back to sort of, actually, oddly enough, so since the last parabolic move, here's support at like 10, 1050, 1060. It's been putting in some lower highs. Like if this were to take out that bottom, pretty spicy. I mean, you got a 10 floor you can go long in front of on this thing if it had liquidity. And then you also have a breakdown through there, which gives you a bit of a gap down to 850. So maybe Dave should be on the radar. But it does, like it's spread, even when it was doing a lot of volume, it was like a $10, $11, $12 stock. And the spread would be 30, 40, 50 cents off some of these levels. And it's just a lack of liquidity, and that's what's happening with some of these IPOs. Like the things that are halting multiple times in 2022 and the back end of last year, a lot of times these are these new issues, they haven't been trading a while, and they've got no float, and then they're just halting. It's not necessarily these small cap runners anymore. It tends to be these IPOs. I should come back over to AMD, which, by the way, like the market trying to check up here 14.7 on the NASDAQ. So AMD showing some more signs of strength as it tries to get back up towards the high. No adjustment to be made. Just noting the fact that like it slammed down, was able to get that fill for the 50 cents, and then we're coming, well, as I say that, I'm like, oh, we're coming right back up to the high, and then it puts another downtick in. I feel like this is just gonna follow the market for the rest of the day, so in some ways, this is just a proxy that we could roll over. The good thing is this is at the high, and as I said, the NASDAQ wasn't at the high of the day. So it was cover on the overall tech market to the upside while AMD was on its high. So AMD then had to break its high without the NASDAQ making a new high, which is another reason that I like that trade. So you just start lining it up. It's like multiple reasons to sort of like this trade, despite the fact that AMD is super strong today.
Yeah, we're going to attempt to reload right now on Microsoft right here. So we are back into Facebook, of course, but that's par for the course. And then here we go now into Microsoft. Oh, man, I just wasn't thinking that the market was going to retake this right here. We'll wait to see what the imbalances are going to be. But Microsoft coming back in as the market comes back in. So we will just reload this name. It comes back in. We'll take a reload on Softy. And then honestly, if it comes all the way back to the downside, then that is what's happening for that stock. So we'll have to wait on that. Here's the reload on Facebook. Again, this 216.50 held, so hey, now we have another out, so we'll take a little piece out on this if it gets into the 30s, and then we'll just have to hold it because, again, it's 50 cents worth of downside risk on this trade, and we need to make more than 50 cents on the upside, right? So now we have to let this thing go, hopefully, as there it goes back up to the upside. There goes Softy as well, so things starting to happen a little bit. Softy, we need to go up a little bit more than this as we just took our trade at 02, but hopefully the market bounces off that that level. Knowing my luck, though, I don't know. We'll see. But let's not discount this. We still need the NASDAQ to come back down and break 14,680. I hope you're enjoying some of these positions, but if the market doesn't go up, I won't be enjoying them for too much longer. All right, Facebook all the way up now. We have that 50 cents. Let's offer this because, again, we get some 46s, we'll take it. And then at this point, we're just going to, there you go, give me that. Unbelievable. You see that? 46 came. I saw where I was offering. There, come on, let's go. Did we get out? Did we get out? Yes, we did. So we get out at 46 right there, and there's a 50-cent winner for Facebook. So now we can calm down, chill out, let this thing go back up to the upside. If it gets taken out now at the bottom, then at least we tried again and we made a flat trade. So that's good. Let's let Facebook run. Hey, look, if you don't take any profits, then, you know, especially on a name like Facebook that's been choppy, it's not the right strategy. So now we'll take out 40%, hold 60, and let's see if we can get out of that 219.50 like we were hoping.
Exactly. Why, Sean? Because you never want to look a gift horse in the mouth. Although I'm doing exactly that with
Facebook
Peloton.
ain't no gift horse today, man. Wow.
Facebook's been one of those. Look, Facebook. Here's the thing. Everybody's trading Facebook on our floor. It's like you've got to be. When something like a Facebook is moving the way it is, you know you're going to find opportunities there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like it's unavoidable. It's not necessarily that we're harping on and focusing on it, but it was the same thing with Snapchat for a couple of days. There was just no way you weren't trading it. Like Peloton today, like there's just no way you weren't trying to do that either. And as I said, looking the gift horse in the mouth. So the futures make a bounce to the upside. Peloton doesn't go anywhere, right? So I'm like, okay, that looks like it's pulling back in. If you just turn off the high and come back down, I see, you know, AMD make a move off its high. Peloton still does nothing. Like, how are we just only doing nothing on Peloton right now? It's beyond me. So I am now 100% just going to put a trail in. The top of this little tiny range here is 37.60. So my trail goes in at 37.60. It breaks that. We'll lock in just under $2 on the trade. But keep in mind, guys, because this stop out at the high, like I'm not going to get green on Peloton. Yeah, I'm not going to get green on Peloton today because of that stop out, right? If it holds that high here and makes this move, of course, that'd be fine. But I had to take the stop out twice on the way to 40 before getting back in. Hopefully it has a bit of a flush in it, but this market trying to hold up here at the end.
This is absolutely hilarious. Microsoft going down, and it's been, you know, a great stock for me to go long. As the market goes up, Microsoft going down and Facebook ripping up right now. There we go. We took a 99 there, so I lied. We did take some out there. $1 now. Finally, man, finally, we can do a little floss as Facebook now $1.20 in the money. So that's starting to go back up to the upside. So all is well, all is well. We just need a few other names to start to run, like Softy. That MNDT, by the way, comes all the way back to 18. We don't get stopped out. Very, very close to getting stopped out at 18, but we don't. Doesn't take it out. It only goes to 1801 or something, and then bounces back up. So right now, MNDT 30 cents in the money, but that's a slippery slope, as we've already explained. Microsoft right back up. Target for Microsoft 304.60, 304.50. Why not? If we can put an offer there, I will take 50 cents on this if it wants to go. If not, yeah, well, that's too bad because I can't understand why Microsoft doesn't want to go right now. That bottom of 303.60 hopefully doesn't come into play. But again, as Facebook ripping right now, $1.20 in the money, Microsoft having a hard time. So let's just watch this. 304.50, target out.
Yeah, and look, this market trying to make those power moves. That's why we're watching some of these names. One name that, oddly enough, was I don't know what just happened in Nikola. So here we go. Loses its whole supply chain leadership. We'll go to Brendan here. I think you've got the full story on Nikola here.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Apparently, they have lost their entire supply chain leadership, whatever that means. And they've put hiring freeze as a situation. So this is Electrek, that EV-focused website reporting this, guys. They have a lot of news always on Tesla. But supply chain leadership, not entirely sure what that means. But apparently they have all left. So yeah, big move down there for Nikola.
All right.
Like sometimes, like
still up on the day.
It's still up. Well, it was up 5%, but you look at where this went on that volume move down. There was a double bottom at 736. It goes down to 730 before making a bounce. We talk about this in liquidity vacuums. That wasn't on the stock till the news came out. I flipped to it and it already made that move. But if you're looking to catch these falling swords, it just happened in DWAC yesterday. Like you look at some of these levels that hold up and it goes like an extra like 5 or 6 cents. And then the recovery, like once it gets back above, it just shoots higher. It's still going to be down from where it flushed, but that's the kind of thing as a day trader. I know it's bad news, but you're looking, once you've missed a short, you're looking for that rubber band style trade. Facebook, yeah, there you go. It's like heading back to the upside. I'm interested to see what happens at 220 if the stock gets there, because we rejected there a couple of times, including on that news story right when we came back, or just before we came back on for you guys at 2 o'clock. But we'll see what happens at 220. I think that's going to be a big level. Of course, that last out on AMD, for me, could be a loser. The trade shouldn't be overall. The market looking like it does want to take the top. And the fact, if Facebook gets above 220, that's exactly the kind of thing that can have us breaking the high of the day in the overall market.
All right. Pretty happy. Obviously, there's the $3 on or the $2, sorry, on Facebook. As that's I mean, great. Finally, we finally got it. So, woohoo! Happy for sure. I mean, hard to be upset when the market's doing this. So, nice little move to the upside right there for Facebook. And then all we had to do was trash talk Microsoft out. Now it's starting to go up to the upside as Facebook's starting to go. So, hey, man, sometimes you're good to be lucky and lucky to be good in the right names right there. We still should be. I'm still pissed off that we got stopped out there, but whatever. Now Microsoft going back to the upside, $2 in the money on Facebook, $2 in the money on DWAC as well. But again, we're waiting for up here on this name. Hopefully it can come back to 86 and we'll try to get out. If it does come back up, our offer is waiting. But now that I see this, I'm going to offer, honestly, how much time is left? 3:30? Like, okay, here it comes. Let's offer 85.50. Let's just offer 85.50 and that's 90 cents away. If it comes up, maybe we get a rip up to the upside. The spread alone on DWAC with very limited volume is 20 cents. So we could easily get this on like just one swipe down and it's down against you 30 cents from where it just was. So we'll put an offer here on DWAC. I think that's the prudent thing to do and we'll see where we go. But right now, I like that trade. 85.50, we'll put that upside on DWAC. There goes Facebook, yes. There's that 219.50 that we were waiting for, but in case we didn't wait and we got out at 219. So let's wait to see. There goes Facebook, finally a $2 winner.
Yeah, this market's starting to run to the upside. So like I said, that 128 could come out here. The reason I don't like the breakout in AMD is, like I said, that the NASDAQ's still at that high. I'd hate to get trapped in a long at a high of the day in a multi-level break when you have the market possibly running into resistance. So I don't think it's a reversal. And of course, as I say that, it gets right to 128 again, even dollars, and pulls back a little bit here. One note about that DWAC spread, I was trading it some as well. It would open up to 30 to 50 cents. However, there was usually, if it would spend time at a 10 to 15 cent spread and then open up to 50 suddenly, there was usually pretty solid liquidity in the middle of the spread. If you crossed, it would just be in the dark. So sometimes the liquidity is better than it seems. I feel like that happens to be the case with DWAC. I did check back in with the market running on CFVI on the off chance it was going to give us that 17 break. Doesn't look like it's going to be happening for CFVI today. There's still about 25 minutes to go, but it's not showing any signs that it wants to do this today. So this could be the kind of thing that, okay, you put in this wick top, now you've rejected this level a couple of times. It might need stronger consolidation for another move up. We'll see if that can hold down around. It's got weird support because it's broken 15 several times. It's just had to go $1 lower there, 50 cents lower there before screaming back to the upside. And that's the problem with these names. Like sometimes on the way down, it's violent, and even if it holds support, there's a heck of a lot of pain or in and around those levels. So I'd like to check back in, and if it holds 15s tomorrow, maybe it'll make that 17 break, and we'll get to trade that in tomorrow's action. Doesn't feel like that's happening at all today. And trailing stop is in for Peloton, which somehow manages to do absolutely nothing for the entirety of the afternoon show. Not even sure why. Brennan mentioned this earlier in the chat to us, so I'll point it here now. Yeah, there's Harley Davidson. It's at the high. It's up 15%. No trading it because I stink. We talked about Hog and possibly being a nice mover on earnings. It tends to have good volatility. It gives you those 10% moves in either direction. Today, I like to dip by. When I didn't get filled at the open, I canceled at 9:36 or so. It came right back into that price. and I would have been picked up, and now hog's at the high of the day, making a nice little bull flag for you. If you're into that sort of thing, hog on the breakout, it's taking out the 200 period. It's taking out recent resistance at 40, but you can look back here at this 42 quarter area, possibly in play tomorrow, but a strong stock and strong mover here today.
All right. Yeah, so look, Microsoft, good thing we were able to get out up to the upside right there. Good. Okay, good. Just looking at a few things here. As Softy does fall back down into view up, and I was just saying good that we're able to get that out. The high of that was 304.70. We are only 13 minutes away from the imbalances right now, however. That's what I want to do. MNDT, for some reason, my stop order, I guess, didn't go out, so I'm wondering why. That's why. It was the wrong price. I put on a 17 break, not 18 break. So we didn't get out properly, but we get out at 85 anyways there. So we did give back more than we had thought. We had hoped to get out there, and I just double-checked my order right now, and I just put the wrong price. So there it is. We're out of MNDT. A good trade net, so we're happy with that one. Hard to complain on that. We didn't even move our DWAC order. So we'll do that right now. We'll put a DWAC order up where we just talked about it, 85.40. But I'm not actually doing 40. I'm doing a different price, but it's going to be around there. So we'll see. Yeah, sneaky stuff. We'll see if we can get that. And then Facebook does go as high as right to that level that we called, 219.50. It was kind of a fluke level. We just thought back into here was something that could happen. But again, a nice $2 move back up. And if you look at the NASDAQ, we are just fading. Look, today's going to be a flat day for me P&L wise, which is better than what yesterday was. We were up in the morning. And we will still, we should be positive here. We're waiting for Facebook. I'm just kind of like thinking that, again, it's $2 in the money, so we should be positive today, just using the P&L currently not unrealized, and hopefully that can continue to go to the upside, and we'll see about that. What's up, Henry? Thanks for the $1 there on the super chat. And because I know Henry likes Palantir, and because he just spin $1, let's see what Palantir's doing. Nice, okay, with the market. That's strange. I asked Brendan before when Palantir reports, I think you might have said the 13th or 14th or something of February, but Palantir is my most scary position just because of the way it's been trading. I'm most nervous about their earnings report. It's been fun when they've reported, needless to say. So the 7th? 17th. Yeah, 7th was yesterday. So, okay, here goes Facebook taking out that 219.50. So let's go, Facebook. Do we test 220 today? Was that first key level? I think we'll punch along 220 just to see what happens here into the close as the imbalance is still waiting that. But there goes Facebook, $2.60 now in the money. Just wish we always had more shares when stuff like this happens.
Yeah, as we try to show you guys, I did get stopped out AMD. The high of the day now, 05s. 1 to 128 broke. We just get out of the trade. That's always going to be the plan there. No adjustment to be made. No moving it around or changing things on the fly or calling an audible, as Greg likes to say. We'll get the football analogies in there. So it's just down to Peloton, which this is probably going to take care of itself. I actually don't really get why Peloton's not doing anything. It's not often that you see a stock go from $30 to $40 and be the most volatile name or the most heavily day traded name on the day, and then spend all of Power Hour for now doing absolutely nothing. So it rejects that 40. This is actually pretty strong, right? Because it's still doing volume. It's just not moving, and it's not falling down either, which kind of means no one wants to capitulate with it. But guess what's back at 220? Meta. Meta is all the way back at 220. So whoever was selling those 10,000 share lots right down here, we trailed out of it. Thankfully, finally, I actually used a trailing stop, and it looks fantastic and after the fact. But whoever was selling those 10,000 lots down here, oops, is all I got to say to you, because that was a good like 50 or 60,000 shares. They were just getting filled instantly, all at the low of the day. Not usually a good place to sell. But what do I know?
No, 340 right now. Microsoft, yes, sir. We'll fire off a couple hot dog cannons right here. I don't know if Tim has seen this one yet. There's some hot dogs going left and right. And we're now 50 cents in the money. So Microsoft, okay, we got reloaded right there. But now, wow, I didn't realize we were going up this much on Softy. So we'll have another quick look at this. Wow, right up into that level one more time. So yeah, let's stick an order right there at 60. If we can grab that, we will. Softy upside. And then, yeah, we've got this, man. We talked about that that, and Neil just went over it, but there's 220 on Facebook, so that's a $3 winner now, long at 217, back up to 220, which is virtually where we were. I mean, down 2%. I mean, you know, you got to take that. We'll see. Maybe it's made the bottom. Probably not. We'll check out 216 tomorrow if that does come into play. But for right now, just massaging some of these trades. DWAC, looks like the DWAC hunter is out. I don't think we'll get that trade here. It's still 19 minutes, but again, it's got to move. Let's check CFVI. CFVI again, Rumble. Ooh,
it's not doing anything either.
No, it's not doing anything. But I really like Rumble more than all the other ones, to be honest with you. DWAC sort of already gone. Like CFVI really hasn't moved. On the 20-minute it has, because we just got the Rogan yesterday. But, you know, before Rogan announcement, and then, of course, DWAC is going and funds starting to go. But you definitely had a beautiful base down here, man. 12-13 for CFVI. I mean, if this is exactly going to try to, anyways, challenge YouTube and look, you know, for that kind of a market. I mean, we've already seen the YouTube revenues are monstrous for Google. So, I mean, CFVI, in my opinion, does have a chance. So that's the name that I like the most out of all of them. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. Where is my softie? We're at 63. Oh God. Let's just put an offer here. I just don't want to miss this. It's been a nice move up. We are getting ready to go into the imbalances. So we got to take some profit here on softie.
Yeah, and by the way, I see you guys talking about crypto. Yeah, Bitcoin back to 44. There was a pullback, a bit of a bounce there. So a nice move back to the upside. And someone noting PayPal trying to get back above. Like maybe, look, who knows whether time will tell whether it's the actual bottom in the recent moves on things like PayPal or Facebook. But we said, like we said, the first step would be, in Facebook's case, you know, making that 220 break, holding and closing above that would be a great start. And in case of PayPal, making that break down at 120. And then coming right back in. Like Facebook and PayPal, these actual charts are about the same thing. Like you get that that 120, which held all morning, gets broken, retested, fresh lows made, and they both just bounce to the exact same level here. So whether it's 120 on PayPal, 220, they get above that price and get a hold. Let's just say you close well above that price, like 120.50, 121, whatever it might be, and then open up tomorrow in front of it, like at maybe $1 or so, and there's any kind of sell into that price level and it bounces, that kind of a double bottom is exactly what gets you like a break back out. And there's just so much room to run. This doesn't even have to fill the gap. Like Facebook, PayPal, basically the same thing. You could easily get 10% without it even coming close to filling that kind of a gap there. And that's what you try to wait out for. Like you don't always have to pick the absolute bottom. Sometimes you can just let it happen for you. Come on, CFVI. It's just you're in CFVI? No, it's just, okay. I had the stop order and I cancel it. I'm like, it's still got time to run. The thing about a CFVI or some of these other breakers is it's a little bit more comfortable taking a break in something like this late in the day, whereas AMD, I wouldn't necessarily love it right in front of imbalances with the market at the high of the day. With all that kind of stuff, you don't care as much on a CFVI. Like that's a break for a scalp trade you're willing to take way closer to the close, just because it might not care. 350, if imbalances come out, it doesn't care about the market closing. It doesn't care about the market being at the high of the day. All things that are true of AMD in that 128 level, but wouldn't be true at 17. But guess what? Volume dying down. It's just looking like it's not going to happen here for me. So I'm holding on to Peloton. My trail is in there. It either breaks 50 cents higher and I get stopped out, or we flush into the close. I'm willing, because I have a trail on Peloton, by the way, I am willing to hold it. I don't care about the imbalances, because if it's a buy imbalance on Peloton, well, it's just going to trigger my stop and I'll get out automatically. And if it's a sell imbalance, well, bank error in my favor and it might fill me on the bid. So no reason at this point, when you're in the money, no reason to necessarily adjust too much of anything. It's just 350 could be the point at which I get filled. It doesn't change the trade at all.
All right, so good outs, yeah, exactly. So just, okay, first of all, before we go, 219.50 break, we're going to be out of Facebook. So we held this all the way up, man. We're $3 in the money, and it's just, we've seen it do this. So we are not going to sit here and wait for it to knock us out at a horrible price. We're going to put the, battle it in our own opinion here and make this trade properly, hopefully, as we go. But right now, I don't know what's going on.
As MC Hammer says, proper.
Yeah, get that proper. Too Legit to Quit is the song, but I mean, he has another one, doesn't he?
But he's the one that used to say the phrase. Proper was like one of his. Proper, wasn't it?
I don't know. I feel like
I should know that.
Okay, so there's Facebook. We are now out of Facebook, so we go, Mamma Mia. Now we don't have to worry about this name. We are. Is it proper? I feel like
he has a song. Break him off something proper.
I was gonna say, I knew there was a song.
I shouldn't have had to look that up. That's pathetic, man.
Yeah, MC Hammer. Well, I mean, whatever. He's had a couple good songs. He has another song like "I Pray" or "Pray." That's right, we pray.
Just to make it.
Yeah,
these guys are
just
like,
to make it one day or something like that. I mean,
who is MC Hammer? Why are you guys?
Yeah, like if you want to know someone that like the huge ass pants and everything like that, MC Hammer. He is too legit to quit.
Yeah, the cameo with like the lines.
Yeah. Classic guy. I wonder what that guy's up to now. Obviously,
isn't he like a minister?
I think he's doing. Oh, he's a minister.
I should like grow the hair and then dress up as MC Hammer for Halloween next year. But that would take full commitment. Like I'd have to grow the cameo for like months. That's the only problem.
Yeah. You can't touch this. All right. So, all right. Donna, you can't touch this.
Get the super chat, man.
Yeah. What super chat? Oh my gosh. Hey, what's up, Damien? Shout out to you, Damien. Thank you for all you do. What's up to Sticky Note Nation? You are a certified member, Damien. Thank you so much. There we go. And everyone likes that. Big Daddy Kane for sure. I mean, we can just go on and on about that time, but thank you for everything, Damien. Big ups to you, man. Thank you for the super chat. Means a lot. I hope you're having a successful day today, my friend. So 347, man. We're getting pretty close to seeing what these imbalances want to do now. So we're getting locked and loaded now as DWAC is not doing anything. I'm at 84.20 now. So one little pop. Oh, here we go. Nope. One little pop up. Hopefully we'll be able to get out of DWAC. Just the volume's not here. You can see it's pretty low right now, but imbalances in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just getting set up because I want to make sure, just in case things could pop off, we can show them as well. Like I said, I'll be in Peloton. The other name that's, I think, worth watching going into that close, I mean, who knows? AMD is still at that high of the day, so that's the other name I'm probably going to end up watching. Super strong today. The chip makers across the board reacting to the, the NVIDIA ARM deal not happening. Good for the overall space. Good for the competition. Certainly, that's why you're seeing AMD so strong. So we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be an imbalance, but it's this. And of course, Peloton that I'll be watching here today. I can't see how Peloton doesn't move there. And yeah, that's right. We love our old school hip hop. We're probably taking it a little bit further back than normal by dropping MC Hammer. Although I will say this, in my household, the very first CD, or the 2 CDs that we actually owned, and my dad claimed they were his, even though they belonged to myself and my brother, was MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice. And people are like, what is a CD?
Well, I mean, Vanilla Ice invented rap, so that makes a lot of sense on that one.
My brother liked him. There wasn't.
Yeah, I like. There's a lot of great. Anyways, a lot of great artists back then. NVIDIA, $3 in the money. Good job on that one. Okay, there it is. DWAC. We'll take the $2. We were long at 82.20, and there's our out right there. We just got filled, as we just said. So DWAC out right now. Good trade there, hopefully for you guys as well. And it was just such a simple trade for me in right there. The only problem is we should have got out here. It should have been a lot quicker trade and $2 more than what we got. But we ignored that 86, hoping that it was going to rip, and then we didn't put an order when it was coming back down. That's a great out right there, 85. But we'll take 84.20 anyways and get out of that one, as we only have 20 seconds now until these imbalances come through. So let's call up our imbalance locator. Oh my God, I got to do this source thing again. Activate it. We don't need to see ARCA. And now we'll wait to see what happens on this. We have the 1 minute up. So it's coming out now in 5 seconds. We'll see what happens here with these imbalances, and hopefully to the upside, but maybe not. And we will wait to see. Here it is. Zynga, City, Intel. Yeah, what is the market doing right now? Testing lows, so watch out for that. ATVI, I thought I saw Xilinx on there for a buy. AMD a sell, Neil.
Nuance again?
Microsoft to sell, Apple to sell. So yeah, market down on this.
Oh my goodness, AMD. Yeah, okay, whatever. Someone asked, am I going to go short on AMD? The thing is, if it comes out of buy imbalance, it's just breaking out the high. Like if you're sitting in the short and you have a stop at the high of the day, that's one thing, but it had already taken 128. So maybe that was an actionable trade if you were sitting in it and it hadn't broken the level, but it had. Peloton, I don't even see it anywhere. So I guess not really much of an adjustment to make, except for the fact there's only 9 minutes to go, and Peloton still doesn't want to do anything. So at this point, I don't really have anything to do. It's just, if it breaks the top, I still have my stop order. I'll give it some room to run in case the market pulls back, in case it starts to sell off. We'll see what happens with Peloton. Looks like nothing wants to break out through those highs. Checking back CFEI, not making the break. Shows you AMD, which was trying to go. Sell and bounce is going to take that out of the way. I'm only going to pull this up because this is like I don't know how many times these imbalances are coming on some of these deals, but NUAN, which is just a buyout, had a 1 million imbalance, and Xilinx, which should be closing, that had a buy imbalance, Xilinx there. So here's the thing, and the reason why, take that with a grain of salt, that AMD sell imbalance, because it's AMD sell imbalance, Xilinx buy imbalance. So those two are kind of like oddly offsetting. They're going to follow each other. So maybe some kind of weird arb or something going on with that deal, as you had opposing imbalances there. I'm not sure if there's an index action. Probably worth checking.
Yeah, I mean, it's just probably just hedge funds as well, like or people just wanting to sell their shares, or I guess they're buying. So I don't know, buy, sell. Yeah, so we'll figure out what that's doing on there. There's Facebook, good out for us, obviously, as you know. Whatever, we'll see if it's going to be a good out, but so far so good. Out there at 219.50 off that last long. Look, and this is what I mean. Stopped out right there for like 50 cents, but then we made $3 back on the last part. Sorry, 250 back, and that's $2, and then that's $1. So $1, $2, 250, and so made some of that back. Hopefully you guys are good to go on that one. Zynga obviously is a bought deal. We talked about that already. I have no idea. Intel's 49, so Intel breaking through 50 should be a good trade at some point as well, as you're up 1.49%. So we'll stay tuned for some Intel trading. And then ATVI, the buyout that may never, I mean, it'd be fine, but I guess it's at $90, so that could be a nice little premium there. Disney on watch. Maybe we can do, well, we will do tomorrow's earnings again. I don't think there's any big names on here that I noticed, but Disney, a nice move. Again, I like Disney. It's just they've been beat down a lot. So Disney down here, wow, 130 was the bottom for Disney. So this doesn't get interesting again until 155 or so. But Disney right now trying to move.
Yeah, and I've seen it enough times today that I'll bite. I'll check out Backed. I've seen it get talked about a few times. I see Zila as well, but that's at the lows and it continues to fade off that dollar level. Can't seem to get there, that Zila. But Backed, yeah, $6 again, this stock? Like, how many times? Should have been looking at this thing. $6 over and over again on this stock. And the only reason I'm saying that is I don't just have it memorized. I traded it off $6 yesterday. You guys probably remember from yesterday's action. So you get a double top. Should have been on this. A lot of times you had success on a stock like Backed was at the end of the day. You should try to go back to the well. There was a lot moving here, and I think probably looking at CFEI and wanting that to happen, or wanting DWAC to make a move to the high of the day when they were more active, is the reason to have missed out on what looks like a fantastic top end here on Backed. Now, it's still bullish. It's heading towards that high, and maybe it's got a break in it for tomorrow, but that's the kind of level that's juicy. Like, it already failed there once before 2 o'clock, failed again here at the high. You knew there was a capitulation in the afternoon yesterday at that price, so you might have to wait till tomorrow for it to have a chance to break that level. And it looks like I'm going to have to get out of Peloton exactly in the same range it's been in the entirety of the show. A little bit surprised to see that happen, but here we are.
Yeah. Okay, so we're out of everything now. Completely flat day. We are positive today, so hallelujah. We'll go swish, swish on that one. Battle back from yesteryear when we were not. Oh, it's nice to see Nucor. I'm just seeing that right now. This may be a good opportunity to get out of this one, man. We've been buying this at 95. Shout out to Austin if you're on here, guys. But a good little move to the backside. Congratulations, Neil, on getting BKKT right on your chart. You've been putting in NQ. I believe you just put in NY and didn't have a problem, so congratulations. For that one.
Small victories, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're cheering that on. 120 maybe for Nucor, but you did see Alcoa today making new highs, so that's a good one. I believe they've reported. I think they reported early Nucor, so but maybe wrong on that, but I feel like they did, and that's what gapped this to 100.
Oh, high of the day break
on
market.
Market, wow, okay, yeah, market's starting to rip upside right now, big time. On 55, so a little bit of an imbalance, probably locator change there. Yeah, see, Apple buy now. Apple was a sell. Everything flipped pretty much, so a good trade there. Yeah, as the market taking off to the high of the day. Congratulations, anybody that's been holding anything. Where is Facebook? Yeah, 221 for Facebook right now. Facebook ripping up. We thought we did good getting out there, but look at that, a nice little move to the upside. So yeah, pretty happy with Facebook making those moves. I guess it's just the earnings board. What's up?
Yeah, let's have a look, guys, at what's to come tonight and tomorrow morning. Alcoa was quite early in the reporting season, but there was a number of metals that made recent highs today, so a lot of those were higher. But there we go for tonight and tomorrow.
as you mentioned, the metals, like Cliff hasn't reported yet. Okay, so there's obviously Peloton came out with their numbers, so won't worry about that. Chipotle is that's that stock that's like they're a bit of a beast sometimes. We don't actually ever trade it. I don't know why. I don't know that I'm terribly excited by anything on the list. When we looked at it this morning, there's a lot. You never really know, but nothing really stood out this morning. And just going to note, Facebook broke back above 220 and holding. PayPal broke back above 120 and holding. And of course, finally a move happens on Peloton. It was to trail me out. So we only get $2 on the last of that trade. Still, overall, relatively successful, but we had that one stop at the top, so I wasn't going to get green on it anyways, even if it went to 35s. Either way, good look for PayPal and Facebook, and of course, the overall market.
So, if I was a little more confident in some of these longs, like we did have this PayPal long stopped out, but we did hit it twice, and now, of course, it rips up. But look, you're not going to predict, like if you could predict the market going to the day's high at the end of the day, considering what we've been doing the last couple of days, then good on you. But it's just about managing the expectations and managing the risk, right? We've seen Facebook fall so many times. So that's why I like to capture this all the way up. And that's why we got out of 40% here pretty early. Like we were long at 217 flat. These are out at 50 and 60 right there for 50, 60 cents. Then that's $1, then that's $2, and then that's $2.50. To predict that kind of a move is very, very hard to do. But it's nice to see now Facebook right where it started, man. We had that 220 break initially. Then it ripped all the way to 225. We had some longs, made the money, had some mess ups up here. And then now we'll trade Facebook tomorrow again. But wow, crazy, crazy day. As I'm just looking to see if there's anything really moving. Peloton, I know Neil's already let's check out Tesla.
Oh, you know what just made a move?
Yeah, what?
I got to check AMD because Marvell actually broke resistance on the daily as well. So that could be on the move. Just double checking because when the market reversed, I forgot to, oh goodness, that daily on AMD. Yeah, AMD did make that break. When the market took out the high, AMD finally goes to 128. Marvell took out its high. The difference between Marvell, it broke on the daily. AMD going to be approaching that level on the daily maybe tomorrow, 132, and then maybe back to that 50 period. So some very, very key levels starting to come in. Huge bounces for a lot of these names. I like the way we started the week. Of course, don't forget we have that silly inflation number coming at the end of the week, which can always spoil things, but a pretty good Tuesday so far.
Yeah, I just want to check out Win here because this is a name that we've been buying every time it comes down to 80. So a nice little 10% move back up to the upside here again. So, we've been buying this name and not shy about telling you guys that. So Win, we've been getting longer and longer here at 80 where, we've been raising some capital. We sold T-Doc. We sold at 160. We sold Apple. T-Doc's an NY. I knew, as soon as I typed in NQ, I knew that was the wrong way. We sold this at 86. So now down to 70 again. So again, putting money to work in names that we like better, like a Win with only 40 seconds left to go.
Look at Fun at the end of the day.
It's going to be Randy. Fun moving.
Funware just put a big move right to yesterday's high.
Okay, so DWAC didn't really move, but Funware did. What about CFVI quickly here? No, that didn't go. So it's just Funware right now, moving up and down as the market coming back in a little bit here. We are gaining rock and rolls. It's going to be Mr. Randy on the ones and
twirling it
on the ones and twos here. So
turn the volume down.
The good thing is no one's lowering the bell, so this is fantastic. So we don't have to worry about it.
You're gonna have to jump for it.
Nah, I see Lucas has it. So with only 10 seconds to go, here we go. Randy's been waiting all day for this. So let's
can't be louder than the fire alarm.
I wish you didn't say that. Here we go with 3, 2, and 1. That's pretty good, actually.
It actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't.
I like that one. That was a good one. So there it is. The market is now closed. And let's go wait to see what happens now. I just got into a position.
I actually didn't even realize that they lowered the bell from a different place.
Yes, that's why I was like, wait a second.
Because we looked over here, and it's like, why is nobody lowering the bell for Randy? But a smart move, gentlemen. Move the location of the bell. Of course, you would move the pulley to actually lower it. That seems like it makes some sense. Usually it makes sense to get over to Brendan to find out how the day ended, although, spoiler alert, we're green.
There it is. I didn't catch the end of that, but it was positive if you missed it. Right across the board here, guys. Nice day. 0.82 for the S&P, 1 full percent here for the Dow, 1.07, 1.17 for the NASDAQ. So nice positive day right across the board. Even had a nice bounce back down here. Remember, these were 3 and almost 4% when we first started this morning. So everything back to the upside.
All right. So nice little movement today. Nice to see the markets up that 1.2%. Great day today for trading. It's nice to see Facebook get back. I just want to see if DWAC made a move there. Yeah, no, not really. So we will wait for DWAC to go. But yeah, a fantastic day. Thanks to Mark. Thanks to Randy today for pretty much crushing it. A big thank you to Lucas and to Tim on the ones and twos. Again, good job today. I mean, it takes, what do they say? It takes a village to
raise a child.
I don't think it's something else I'm looking for. There's Randy in the back. You know what this saying? I don't know what it is. But there's Randy in the background. Thanks, Randy, for that. I don't know if Arun's still at his spot, but a big thank you to Arun again. What's the saying, Brendan?
It takes a village to raise a Randy.
No.
You can't raise a Randy.
It takes wild boars to raise a Randy. So here we go. That's Randy's right there. I still can't believe Randy gave us this glove, and I'm wondering what is the purpose of this?
Why is it still there? Why is it
there? I know.
That's creepy. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know, Randy.
Where's that glove?
There we go. Yeah, it is Bulls, and it is Maple Leaf Nation. You know, this is the first time in history that both Toronto teams have had 6-game win streaks. So Marner's on fire. Austin Matthews got hurt, though.
He left the game.
So hopefully he's fine.
He's tough.
Shout out to the Maple Leafs. But hey, it's been a fantastic day once again. So obviously thank you to Neil. Thank you to Brendan over there. Thank you to everybody. The trade of the day, Pfizer, that's what it was. Join us right now. You'll get flipped over to that. Thank you for everything. Tomorrow's going to be another big day. Don't be confused that you think Randy's working. Like that's
he's just moving.
He's just moving around back there. So,
Mark's the one on the ladder.
Yeah, Mark is the one risking his life here. As Randy.
We need a ladder cam.
We do have a ladder cam. We do have.
Mark has been living on that ladder for you guys to make the show look better. It's just,
yeah, and that's coming up. Hopefully later on this week, maybe next week. Maybe there he is right there. Yeah, not too far away. And there's the other desk being built right now. So Trader Prad, Miss V, Arun, so on and so forth will all be on the same stage.
Cameras are
so
in there. It's all
yeah, we're getting ready to rock and roll. All right, it's 4:03. We got to go. Thank you for watching, guys. It's Trader TV Live. We have a lot of fun here every day. So make sure you join us tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao.